When people underestimate you, they often believe they've already won. They look at your present circumstance, your struggles, your silence, and they assume it is weakness. But what they fail to realize is this: you are a product of divine intention. God does not create anything without purpose. You are not here by accident, and you are certainly not one to be trifled with. You see, when someone chooses to mess with a child of destiny, they aren't just challenging you. They're challenging the God who put his fingerprints on your life. They are challenging the plan he has written for you, a plan that cannot be erased by man's opinion or actions. The very fact that you have faced adversity and yet stand here today is proof that you are not ordinary. Ordinary people crumble under pressure, but those with a God-given assignment are refined by it. Every attack, every insult, every betrayal, God has used it to strengthen you. What they don't realize is that the trials they brought to destroy you were tools in the hands of the Almighty to shape you. They didn't see the nights you cried out to God, the nights you felt like giving up but didn't. They didn't witness the moments when heaven whispered, "Hold on, for I am with you." They messed with the wrong one because they only saw the surface. They didn't recognize the power within you. They didn't understand that your silence was not submission, but strategy. God was teaching you patience, endurance, and wisdom. And now as you rise, they will see the hand of God upon your life. God doesn't anoint people for comfort. He anoints them for impact. And when his anointing is upon you, no weapon formed against you will prosper. People may plot, they may scheme, but God's purpose prevails. They thought they could break you, but all they did was push you closer to your destiny. When you walk in divine purpose, you carry an authority that cannot be explained. And let me remind you, God fights for his own. You don't need to defend yourself or retaliate, because the battle isn't yours, it's the Lord's. The more they come against you, the more God will elevate you. The more they try to close doors, the more he will open new ones. Let them talk, let them plot, let them think they've won. Your response is not revenge, it's resilience. Let your success, your growth, your faithfulness be the loudest testimony of who you are. Because when you are God's chosen, even your enemies will have to acknowledge his hand on your life. They messed with the wrong one because they thought they could destroy what God has built. But here you are, standing stronger, wiser, and more determined. Not because of your own strength, but because of the one who strengthens you. And to those who doubted, to those who betrayed, let your life declare, "I am a child of purpose, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper." People often misjudge you because they are looking through the lens of their own limitations. They see only what is visible to the eye, your current struggles, your moments of silence, and the challenges you face, and they assume they figured you out. But what they fail to realize is that silence can be a weapon, struggles can be a training ground, and challenges can be stepping stones. They think they've won because you haven't retaliated or because your response isn't loud. They mistake your restraint for weakness, not understanding that you are operating from a place of strength, a place of divine wisdom. They don't know the depth of who you are because they didn't see the journey that brought you here. They weren't there for the nights you cried out in prayer, for the moments when your faith was tested, or for the times you stood firm while everything around you seemed to fall apart. They judge based on what they see, but they don't know the God who is working behind the scenes in your life. What they see as hesitation is preparation. What they call defeat is God's way of teaching you patience and trust. They look at your present and define you by it, but God defines you by your purpose and your destiny. And when someone underestimates a person walking in divine purpose, they are not just making a mistake, they are setting themselves up to witness a transformation they cannot comprehend. You see, underestimation often comes from a place of ignorance. They don't understand the power that resides in a person who has been through the fire but didn't burn, who has faced the storm but didn't drown. They think they're dealing with someone ordinary, but God does not create anything without intention. What they fail to recognize is that their underestimation of you will be the very stage upon which God's power will be revealed. They assume they've won because they don't see you fighting back the way they expect. But you don't need to fight in the way the world does, because the greatest battles are won in surrender to God's plan. And in their haste to judge you, they've overlooked one critical truth. The one they are underestimating is backed by a power far greater than they can understand. You are not here by accident. Your life is not a random occurrence or a coincidence. God, the master creator, designed you with precision, intention, and purpose. Every part of your being, every talent, every passion, every experience, good or bad, was intricately woven together to fulfill a divine assignment. You are not just another person walking the earth. You are a vessel of purpose, carrying the fingerprints of God Himself. People often look at you and fail to see the depth of what God has placed inside you. They see the surface, but they don't understand the intricate plan God has for your life. He has written a script for you that no one else can play. Your existence is proof that there is a problem in this world only you were created to solve. There is a space in history, a gap in time, that only you can fill. When people come against you, they are not merely attacking you, they are coming against the purpose God has placed in you. And here's what they don't realize: God's purpose is indestructible. No amount of scheming, no amount of opposition can derail the plans God has already ordained for your life. What God has set in motion, no man can stop. Your purpose was established long before you were even formed. The Bible says that God knew you before you were born, and He set you apart for His work. That means your life has a divine backing, a heavenly authority, and a power that cannot be diminished by the opinions or actions of others. People can misunderstand you, underestimate you, or even try to stop you, but they cannot erase the destiny God has written for you. Even in your struggles, God is working. Even in your pain, He is moving. He is using everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to align you with His purpose. Every setback is a setup. Every tear is watering the seeds of your destiny, and every obstacle is shaping you into the person God created you to be. You may not always see the full picture, but rest assured that God's plan is unfolding perfectly. And here's the truth: when you walk in the purpose God has given you, no enemy can stand against you. They may try, but their efforts will fail, because your purpose is not rooted in the approval of man. It is rooted in the will of God. And what God has blessed, no one can curse. So when they mess with you, they aren't just challenging a person, they are challenging the divine plan of the Almighty. And that is a battle they can never win. Every attack you faced, every insult that pierced your heart, and every betrayal that tried to break you was never wasted. God used each of these moments as tools to refine you, to shape you, and to prepare you for something greater than you could imagine. The trials you endured were not meant to destroy you, they were meant to build you. Like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of stone, God allowed the pressures and pains to remove what didn't belong so that the masterpiece within could emerge. When they insulted you, they thought they were tearing you down, but in truth, they were strengthening your resolve. When they betrayed you, they believed they had left you shattered, but all they did was push you closer to the God who mends the brokenhearted. Every tear you cried, every sleepless night, every moment of questioning and doubt, God saw it all, and He used it to increase your endurance, your wisdom, and your faith. Trials are not a sign of God's absence, they are evidence of His preparation. When gold is refined, it is placed in the fire, not to destroy it, but to burn away impurities. In the same way, the fire of your trials has not consumed you, it has purified you. You are stronger now because of what you've been through. You are wiser because of the lessons you've learned. And you are closer to God because in your weakness, His strength has been made perfect. People may look at your scars and see failure, but God looks at them and sees victory. Each scar is a testament to what you've overcome, a reminder that what was meant to harm you has only made you stronger. They thought they could break you, but all they did was make you unbreakable. They didn't realize that with every attempt to bring you down, they were actually pushing you forward. God has a way of taking what was meant for evil and turning it into good. The very things that were designed to stop you have become stepping stones toward your destiny. The betrayals taught you who to trust. The insults taught you how to find your worth in God and not in the opinions of others. And the hardships taught you that God's strength is greater than any challenge you face. You didn't just survive the trials, you thrived because of them. God was building you in ways that others couldn't see. While they were busy trying to tear you down, He was busy lifting you up. What they saw as your breaking point, God saw as your breakthrough. And now, as you stand stronger, wiser, and more determined, you are living proof that no weapon formed against you can prosper. Everything you've been through has prepared you for this moment. The trials have equipped you, the pain has refined you, and the opposition has strengthened you. And now, the very battles that were meant to destroy you are the foundation of the victory God is bringing into your life. They thought they were tearing you down, but all they did was help build the person God intended you to become. The strength that resides within you is far greater than what anyone can see. It's a power that doesn't come from material possessions, accolades, or the approval of others. It comes directly from God. When God formed you, He didn't just create you with a purpose. He equipped you with everything you would need to fulfill it. Inside of you is a reservoir of resilience, courage, and divine authority that cannot be diminished by the opinions, actions, or schemes of others. What people fail to recognize is that the power within you is not your own. It is the Spirit of God working through you. This is why you've been able to withstand storms that would have broken others. This is why you've risen after falls that should have kept you down. It's not because of your own strength, but because God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you felt like giving up, it was His power that kept you going. When you were surrounded by darkness, it was His light within you that guided your path. People often make the mistake of judging you by what they can see. They see your quiet demeanor and think it means you're weak. They see your patience and mistake it for passivity. They see your kindness and assume it's a vulnerability to be exploited. But what they fail to understand is that the greatest power is often hidden, just like a seed buried in the soil. It doesn't look like much from the surface, but within it is the potential for life, growth, and transformation. The power God has placed within you is not loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It works silently, transforming you from the inside out, preparing you for challenges, and equipping you for victory. This is why you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to explain your actions or defend your worth. The power within you speaks for itself, and in time it will manifest in ways that cannot be ignored. They underestimated you because they couldn't see what was happening beneath the surface. They didn't know about the prayers you've prayed, the battles you've fought in silence, and the strength you've gained through your relationship with God. They don't realize that every trial you faced has only added to the power within you. What they see as weakness is actually a well of divine strength that they can never tap into. You are not operating on your own ability. You are moving with the authority and power of the one who created you. This is why no matter what they do, they cannot break you. They may throw obstacles in your path, but you will overcome them. They may try to trap you, but God will make a way of escape. They may try to silence you, but God will amplify your voice in ways they never expected. The power within you is a reflection of the God who dwells in you. It is unshakable, unmovable, and unstoppable. It's the same power that raised Jesus from the dead, the same power that parted the Red Sea, and the same power that turns impossible situations into testimonies of God's greatness. And because this power resides in you, no weapon formed against you can prosper. They may think they're coming against you, but what they're really coming against is the God who stands with you. And when God is for you, who can be against you? The strength within you is not for display, it's for victory. It's for perseverance. It's for showing the world that the God you serve is greater than anything they could ever bring against you. They may not see it now, but in time they will witness the power within you, and they will know that they messed with the wrong one. Every time they tried to bring you down, God turned it into an opportunity to lift you higher. What they intended to harm you, God used to elevate you. This is the divine irony of life. What was meant to break you becomes the very thing that blesses you. They didn't realize that their schemes and plans could never derail the purposes of God. Instead, their actions have only accelerated the path to your breakthrough. God has a way of using even your enemies to accomplish His will in your life. The betrayal, the rejection, the lies, they all became tools in His hands. Like a master architect, He weaves even the most painful experiences into the blueprint of your destiny. They thought they were closing doors for you, but every door they shut only redirected you to the one God had already opened. They thought they were tearing you down, but all they did was position you for the elevation God had planned all along. You see, when God is in control, nothing is wasted. The pain you felt, the tears you cried, And the battles you fought, they were all necessary to prepare you for where you're going. God doesn't waste a single moment of your life. Even the struggles have a purpose. They sharpened your character, strengthened your faith, and taught you how to rely on Him completely. Joseph in the Bible understood this well. His brothers sold him into slavery, thinking they had destroyed him. But in God's hands, what seemed like the end of Joseph's dreams became the beginning of his destiny. Every step of his journey, from the pit to the prison to the palace, was orchestrated by God. What his brothers meant for evil, God used for good. And the very people who tried to harm him had to witness his elevation as he stepped into the position God had prepared for him. The same principle applies to you. Every time they plotted against you, God used their plans to bring you closer to your destiny. Every obstacle they put in your way became a stepping stone. Every word spoken against you became an opportunity for God to reveal His favor on your life. They thought they were burying you, but they didn't realize you were a seed. And when a seed is buried, it doesn't die, it grows. God's favor on your life is unstoppable. It doesn't matter who tries to block you, who tries to discredit you, or who tries to harm you. When God decides to bless you, no one can stop it. They may come against you with all their might, but they cannot overpower the plans God has for you. What they meant to harm you has only set the stage for God to show His power, His faithfulness, and His glory through your life. Now, as you stand stronger, wiser, and more determined, you are living proof of God's ability to turn adversity into advancement. The very things they did to harm you have become the foundation for your elevation. And when God elevates you, He does it in such a way that even your enemies cannot deny His hand in your life. They may not have supported you, but they will have to witness your success. They may not have believed in you, but they will see the evidence of God's favor. So don't despise the trials you face. Don't regret the pain you've endured. Every bit of it has been used by God to prepare you for this moment. The higher the opposition, the greater the elevation. And now, as you step into the fullness of what God has prepared for you, you can look back and see that everything they did to hurt you only helped to fulfill God's perfect plan. They thought they were defeating you, but in reality, they were propelling you into your destiny. When they came against you, they didn't realize they were up against more than just you. They were up against the God who fights for you. They saw only the surface, only what their eyes could perceive, and they mistook your humility for weakness, your patience for passivity, and your silence for surrender. But they failed to understand that you are not alone. The battles you face are not fought with mere human strength. They are backed by the unlimited power of God Himself. In their ignorance, they believed their schemes would prevail. They underestimated the covering you have, the hedge of protection that surrounds you because of your covenant with God. They didn't know that when they plotted against you, their plans had already failed in the heavenly realm. For every strategy they devised, God had already prepared a way of escape for you. For every trap they set, He had already planned your victory. When the Israelites stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army closing in behind them, it seemed like all hope was lost. To the natural eye, it looked like their defeat was certain. But what did God do? He stepped in and made a way where there was no way. He parted the sea, not just for their survival, but to utterly defeat their enemies. The same God who made a path through the waters for His people is the same God who fights on your behalf today. This is why you don't need to retaliate. You don't need to fight back in the way the world fights. The weapons of your warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds. Your battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces that have already been defeated by Christ's victory on the cross. All you have to do is stand firm, trust in God, and let Him handle what you cannot. When they thought they had the upper hand, they didn't realize they were triggering divine intervention. God doesn't just watch from the sidelines. He steps into the midst of your battles. He confounds the enemy, disrupts their plans, and turns their weapons against them. They thought they were fighting you, but they were actually fighting God's purpose for your life, and no one can win against God. David understood this when he faced Goliath. The giant mocked him, ridiculed him, and underestimated him because he didn't see the God who was with him. But David declared boldly, "The battle is the Lord's," and with one stone the giant fell. It wasn't the strength of David's arm, but the power of God that secured the victory. That same power is at work in your life. What they didn't count on was the divine reversal. The very things they used to harm, you will be the instruments of their own downfall. Just as Haman in the book of Esther built gallows for Mordecai but ended up being hanged on them himself, so too will every weapon formed against you turn back on those who formed it. Not because of anything you've done, but because God defends his own. The beauty of God's protection is that it's not always visible, but it is always effective. You may not see the angels encamped around you, but they are there. You may not see how God is working behind the scenes, but he is. He is blocking attacks you didn't even know were coming. He is closing doors that would have led to destruction and opening paths that lead to victory. They thought they could destroy you because they saw only your humanity. They didn't account for your divinity, the Spirit of God within you that empowers, protects, and sustains you. This is why you've endured what others couldn't. This is why you've risen after every fall. God has been your shield, your defender, and your refuge, and because of him, you are still standing stronger than ever. What they meant for your defeat has only showcased God's power to protect you. The battle was never yours, it was always his. And when God fights for you, victory is guaranteed. So let them plot, let them scheme. It doesn't matter. They messed with the wrong one, and now they'll see that no one can stand against the child of God and prevail. When they spoke against you, when they spread lies, when they tried to tarnish your name, they thought they were destroying your reputation. But what they didn't understand is that God is your vindicator. He doesn't just clear your name, he elevates it in ways that no human effort ever could. While they were busy dragging you down, God was preparing to lift you higher than you ever imagined. They underestimated the power of divine vindication, the kind that silences every accusation and turns disgrace into honor. God knows the truth, and in his perfect timing, he reveals it. He is not in a hurry because he knows the plans he has for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. When they spread rumors and twisted the truth, it hurt, didn't it? But that pain was not wasted. It drew you closer to God, sharpening your faith and refining your character. What they didn't realize is that their attempts to damage you were being turned into tools for your preparation. Think of Joseph again. When Potiphar's wife lied about him, it landed him in prison, but even there, God was with him. The false accusation didn't define him, it refined him. Joseph could have allowed bitterness to consume him, but he chose to trust in God's justice. And when the time was right, God didn't just vindicate Joseph, he elevated him to a position of influence and authority that even his accusers had to acknowledge. The same is true for you. Every lie spoken against you is like a seed planted in the soil of God's justice. It may take time to grow, but when it does, it will bear fruit that everyone can see. God will not only vindicate you, he will make your accusers witnesses to your elevation. They will see the truth they tried to bury rise up with undeniable clarity. You don't need to waste your energy defending yourself. Your life is your defense. The integrity of your actions, the consistency of your character, and the faithfulness of your walk with God are louder than any word spoken against you. Let them talk, let them slander. In the end, their words will fall to the ground and the truth will stand tall. God is your advocate and his defense is perfect. They thought they could ruin your reputation, but they didn't realize that your identity is not rooted in their opinions. It's rooted in God's truth. What they meant to destroy has only made you stronger, more resilient, and more anchored in who you are in Christ. Their lies were meant to derail you, but instead they have become the very thing that sets the stage for God to showcase his power in your life. In Psalm 23, David says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." This isn't just poetic language, it's a promise. God doesn't just vindicate you privately, he does it publicly, so even your enemies cannot deny his hand on your life. The very ones who tried to bring you down will have to watch as God lifts you up. They will see the favor of God on your life, and they will know that their efforts were in vain. The truth is like a light. No matter how much darkness tries to cover it, it cannot be hidden. Lies may spread quickly, but they cannot endure. Truth is eternal, and it will always prevail. God's timing may not match yours, but it is always perfect. When he vindicates you, it will be undeniable to you. to those who love you, and even to those who try to harm you. So don't let the opinions of others weigh you down. Don't let their words shake your confidence. Your worth, your identity, and your destiny are not in their hands. They are in God's hands. And He is faithful to defend those who trust in Him. Their efforts to tarnish you will only polish you, making you shine brighter for His glory. God's vindication is thorough. He doesn't just clear your name, He restores everything you lost in the process. What they tried to destroy, God will rebuild. What they tried to take, God will multiply. And what they tried to silence, God will amplify. Their actions will backfire because God's justice is not only fair, it's redemptive. What they intended for harm, He uses for your good, turning every attack into a testimony of His power. Let them watch as God takes every word, every lie, and every scheme and transforms it into something beautiful. They thought they were writing your end, but they were only setting the stage for God to write a new beginning. They messed with the wrong one, and now they'll witness what happens when God steps in to defend His chosen. When they tried to push you out, exclude you, or make you feel small, they didn't realize they were positioning you for God's expansion. What they thought would confine you has become the very catalyst for your growth. They believed their rejection would destroy your confidence, but they underestimated the power of God's redirection. You see, man's rejection is often God's way of opening doors they couldn't see or control. While they were shutting you out, God was preparing to bring you into something far greater than you could have imagined. Think about how God works through rejection. David was left out when Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel. His own father didn't see him as worthy enough to even stand among his brothers. But man's oversight is never a hindrance to God's plan. While others dismissed David, God saw his heart and chose him. When they push you aside, when they count you out, God is watching and He is orchestrating something extraordinary on your behalf. Rejection can feel like a breaking point, but it's really a turning point. It's in those moments of isolation that God begins to speak to you, to mold you, to prepare you for the place He's taking you. The same people who excluded you didn't realize they were giving you the space to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. They didn't know that their actions were aligning you with a destiny they could never stop. Consider Joseph again. His brothers rejected him, sold him, and thought they had rid themselves of him forever. But what did God do? He took that rejection and used it as the foundation for Joseph's elevation. From the pit to Potiphar's house to the prison, every step of rejection was part of the journey to the palace. By the time Joseph stood as second in command of Egypt, even his brothers had to acknowledge that God's hand had been on his life the entire time. Rejection doesn't diminish your value, it reveals it. It exposes the fact that you were never meant to fit into their limited view of who you should be. It shows that your destiny is too big to be confined to their expectations. What they saw as your failure was really God setting you apart for something they couldn't comprehend. They pushed you away because they couldn't handle your light. But God is about to place you where your light will shine brighter than ever. When they closed the door, they thought they were ending your journey. But they didn't realize that God had already opened a new door, a door they couldn't see or block. What they meant as an obstacle became an opportunity, and what they intended to stop you became the very thing that propelled you forward. Their actions didn't break you, they built you. Their rejection didn't harm you, it positioned you. The beauty of God's plan is that it doesn't depend on human approval. Your calling isn't determined by who accepts you or who likes you. It's determined by the one who created you and called you for His purpose. When they rejected you, they were rejecting the God who sent you, and that's why their plans will never succeed. You are not defined by their opinions or limited by their actions. You are defined by the God who has set you apart for greatness. Every time they underestimated you, they were giving God the opportunity to show His strength in your life. Every time they said you weren't enough, God was saying you are more than enough because I am with you. Their rejection has only positioned you for greater favor, greater influence, and greater opportunities. They didn't realize that rejection is often the final step before elevation. Just as Jesus was rejected by His own people before He fulfilled His greatest mission, so too are you being prepared through the pain of rejection for the fulfillment of your purpose. Their actions were necessary to push you out of your comfort zone, to separate you from what wasn't meant to go with you, and to align you with God's higher calling. Now, as you step into the places God has prepared for you, they will see that their rejection was powerless against God's purpose. They will witness how the very thing they thought would destroy you became the launching pad for your destiny. Their plans didn't work because they messed with the wrong one. You are chosen, you are called, and no amount of rejection can stop what God has ordained for your life. They thought they could steal your peace, your joy, and your purpose. They believed they could manipulate your emotions, control your decisions, and weaken your resolve. But what they didn't realize is that your peace doesn't come from them, it comes from God. Your joy doesn't depend on their approval or their actions. It is rooted in your relationship with your Creator. They tried to disrupt your mind, but they couldn't touch your spirit, and that's where your strength lies. When they came after you, trying to shake you, intimidate you, or destroy your confidence, they misjudged one very important thing. They were dealing with someone who knows where their true power lies. You are not just a person walking through life based on circumstances or the whims of others. You are a person anchored in something greater, in a source that does not change, and that's why they couldn't succeed. Think about it. Their attempts to break you only revealed your resilience. They thought they could knock you down with their words, their actions, and their schemes. But all they did was prove that no matter what they throw at you, you are unshakable. When they tried to disrupt your peace, you didn't fall apart. You dug deeper into the foundation that holds you steady. You stood taller, not because you are strong in your own right, but because God is the one who sustains you. You have a peace that surpasses understanding. It's not based on what they do or don't do. It's based on the knowledge that God is with you, that He has never left you, and that He will never allow you to be defeated. So when they thought they could steal your peace by creating chaos and confusion, they were only pushing you closer to the source of your peace, where nothing can move you. In the book of Philippians, Paul speaks about a peace that transcends all circumstances. This peace doesn't come from having everything go your way. It comes from trusting that God is in control, even when everything seems out of control. You see, peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of a steadfast trust in God. When they tried to disturb your calm, they were met with the peace of God that guards your heart and mind. They thought they could take away your joy by hurting you, by causing you pain, or by making you feel isolated. But joy is not something that can be stolen. It is a gift from God that no person, no circumstance, and no attack can take away. The joy of the Lord is your strength. And when they came to steal your joy, they failed to realize that it wasn't theirs to take. No matter what they did, no matter what they said, your joy remained intact because it wasn't founded on fleeting things. It is founded on the eternal promises of God. You are being prepared for greater things through the very adversity they tried to send your way. The more they came at you, the stronger you became, because God was using their attacks to refine your character and to fortify your spirit. When they tried to steal your peace, they only made you more aware of how deeply rooted your peace is in God. Every trial, every hardship, every attempt to harm you was another opportunity for God to prove His faithfulness. They tried to destroy your peace, but they couldn't touch your source. They thought they could sow discord, but all they did was strengthen your resolve. The peace you have isn't dependent on circumstances, and that's why they failed to break you. Every time they tried to shake you, you became more anchored in the foundation of your faith. The harder they tried, the stronger your peace became, because you know that you are held in God's hands and no one can snatch you from His care. Their actions were an attempt to make you doubt your worth, to make you question God's plan for your life. But they underestimated you because you are grounded in a truth that cannot be moved. Your peace is not circumstantial, it is supernatural. It comes from God and it is unshakable. So when they tried to steal it, all they did was expose their inability to touch what is eternal. What they meant for harm, God used for your benefit. Every time they tried to disrupt your peace, you found a new layer of peace that you didn't know existed. You found deeper trust in God, and you found a deeper confidence in His purpose for your life. You were never going to be broken because your peace is anchored in something far greater than what they could ever throw your way. So when they tried to disrupt your peace, they only highlighted the strength of God's presence in your life. They thought they could steal from you, but they didn't realize they were only making your foundation stronger. And now, as they watch you continue to walk in peace, joy, and purpose, they will see that their efforts were futile. They messed with the wrong one. And in the end, they could not take what was never theirs to begin with. Your peace is secure, your joy is untouchable, and your destiny remains unaltered. They thought they could defeat you, bring you down, or shut you up with their lies, manipulation, and opposition. They saw your potential, and instead of supporting you, they tried to stifle it. They saw your passion, your drive, and your dreams, and instead of encouraging you, they tried to discourage you, to make you doubt yourself. But in doing so, they made a monumental mistake. They didn't understand that they weren't just going up against you, they were going up against God's purpose for your life. You see, the world doesn't always understand the power that lies within you. People can't always see the strength, the resilience, and the divine calling that is working on the inside of you. They can try to bring you down with their words, their actions, and their tactics, but they will never succeed because they are up against something much greater than their petty schemes. When they mess with you, they're messing with the one who created you. And when they do that, they have no idea that they are aligning themselves against an unstoppable force, the force of destiny, the power of divine purpose. What they didn't realize is that when they attempted to break you, they were only building you. Every insult, every attack, every moment they thought they were getting ahead by trying to hurt you, they were actually sowing seeds of your elevation. Because every obstacle they placed in your path, every attempt they made to crush your spirit only served to strengthen your resolve. You were not weakened by their actions, you were refined. You were not defeated by their tactics, you were propelled forward. Think about the times when people came against you, whether it was in your personal life, your career, or your dreams. They tried to undermine you, tried to keep you from reaching your potential, and tried to make you feel inferior. But what did you do? You didn't shrink back. You didn't give up. You didn't let their negativity dictate your outcome. Instead, you stood taller, you pushed harder, and you showed them that you would never be silenced or stopped. Every attack against you became the very thing that increased your drive and determination to succeed. This is the truth they didn't understand. They didn't just mess with you. They messed with the purpose of God in your life. They underestimated the power of God's plan for you. God never intended for you to be defeated. He never intended for you to be stopped. He designed you to rise above every challenge, every hardship, and every person who tries to stand in your way. Their actions were just part of the process that would ultimately lead to your victory. Consider the story of Jesus. The religious leaders, the Romans, and even his own disciples couldn't understand what he was doing. They tried to stop him, to silence him, to discredit him. But every step they took to bring him down was part of the plan that would ultimately lead to the greatest victory the world had ever seen, the resurrection. What they meant for evil, God used for good. And that same power that raised Jesus from the dead is working in you, enabling you to overcome every plot and plan against your life. In the hustle and bustle of life, amid our relentless pursuit of success and happiness, we often find ourselves grappling with profound questions that linger in the depths of our souls. Why are we here? What is our purpose? As we navigate this complex world, we come to realize that there exists an innate longing within us, a yearning for connection, understanding, and meaning that transcends the material realm. This is where God steps in, offering not just answers, but a relationship that fulfills our deepest desires. The reality is that man needs God because we were created for communion with him. It is this divine relationship that grounds us, instills hope in our hearts, and ignites a sense of purpose in our lives. From the moment we draw our first breath, we embark on a journey filled with choices, challenges, and opportunities. Yet without a firm foundation in God, we risk losing our way, succumbing to the chaos and confusion of a world that often prioritizes the superficial over the significant. In our quest for fulfillment, we may chase after wealth, prestige, or fleeting pleasures, only to discover that these pursuits leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled. This emptiness is a clear indicator of our need for a higher purpose, one that only God can provide. He is the source of our strength, the anchor in our storms, and the guiding light that illuminates our path. In the hustle and bustle of life, amid our relentless pursuit of success and happiness, we often find ourselves grappling with profound questions that linger in the depths of our souls. Why are we here? What is our purpose? As we navigate this complex world, we come to realize that there exists an innate longing within us, a yearning for connection, understanding, and meaning that transcends the material realm. This is where God steps in, offering not just answers, but a relationship that fulfills our deepest desires. The reality is that man needs God because we were created for communion with Him. It is this divine relationship that grounds us, instills hope in our hearts, and ignites a sense of purpose in our lives. From the moment we draw our first breath, we embark on a journey filled with choices, challenges, and opportunities. Yet without a firm foundation in God, we risk losing our way, succumbing to the chaos and confusion of a world that often prioritizes the superficial over the significant. In our quest for fulfillment, we may chase after wealth, prestige, or fleeting pleasures, only to discover that these pursuits leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled. This emptiness is a clear indicator of our need for a higher purpose, one that only God can provide. He is the source of our strength, the anchor in our storms, and the guiding light that illuminates our paths. In a world that often pushes us toward individualism and self-sufficiency, we must recognize that true strength lies not in our own abilities, but in our reliance on the divine. God equips us with the wisdom, courage, and resilience to navigate life's trials. When we turn to Him, we gain access to a wellspring of guidance and support that empowers us to face our fears and uncertainties. The challenges we encounter become opportunities for growth and transformation, revealing the depth of our character and the strength of our faith. Moreover, our relationship with God enriches our understanding of love, compassion, and community. We are not meant to walk this journey alone. We are created to live in fellowship with others. When we embrace God's love, we learn to extend that love to those around us, fostering connections that uplift and inspire. This sense of belonging is essential, for it reminds us that we are part of something greater than ourselves, a divine tapestry woven together by the hands of our Creator. As we delve deeper into the reasons why man needs God, we find that it is not merely about seeking comfort in times of trouble, but about embracing a transformative relationship that reshapes our very essence. God invites us into a life of abundance where our potential is unlocked and our dreams are ignited. When we align ourselves with His will, we discover a life that is rich with purpose and meaning. The challenges we face become stepping stones toward a brighter future, and the adversities we encounter are transformed into testimonies of His faithfulness. From the moment we take our first breath, a profound yearning stirs within us, a longing that goes beyond the physical realm and speaks to the essence of our being. This innate desire is not merely a quest for happiness or fulfillment. It is a deep-rooted hunger for connection, purpose, and significance in a world that often feels fragmented and chaotic. We instinctively seek something greater than ourselves, a source of wisdom and love that transcends the limitations of our human experience. It is a calling that resonates in our hearts, reminding us that we were created for communion with our Creator. This longing is reflected in our relationships with others. We seek love, affirmation, and understanding, hoping to fill the void that exists within us. Yet, while human connections can bring joy and comfort, they are often fleeting and imperfect. The truth is that no relationship, no matter how deep or meaningful, can fully satisfy the thirst of our souls. Only a relationship with God can provide the enduring fulfillment we seek. When we align ourselves with the divine, we begin to experience a sense of completeness that transcends our circumstances. This spiritual connection opens our eyes to the beauty and purpose of life, guiding us through the complexities of our journey. As we navigate the ups and downs of life, this deep-seated need for connection with God serves as a compass, directing us toward our true purpose. It compels us to seek answers to life's most pressing questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my destiny? When we invite God into our lives, we embark on a journey of self-discovery, uncovering our true identity and the unique gifts we possess. This relationship not only illuminates our paths, but also empowers us to embrace our purpose with confidence and clarity. Moreover, this innate longing for connection is a testament to our design as relational beings. We were created in the image of God, who embodies love, creativity, and relationality. Our desire for connection mirrors his nature, reflecting the divine call to engage with him and with others. It is through this relationship that we find healing for our wounds, hope in our despair, and strength in our weakness. Our hearts resonate with the truth that we were never meant to walk this journey alone. Instead, we are invited into a loving relationship that nurtures our souls and fosters our growth. In this pursuit of connection, we must recognize that true fulfillment does not come from external validation or material success. It arises from an intimate relationship with God that nourishes our spirits and guides our actions. When we cultivate this connection, we become vessels of love and grace in the world, reflecting the very essence of our Creator. This transformative relationship reshapes our understanding of life, enabling us to live with purpose and passion, fueled by the knowledge that we are deeply loved and valued. God's presence in our lives is not merely a concept or abstract idea. It is an invitation to experience a profound and transformative relationship that fulfills our deepest longings. This divine relationship transcends the limitations of human understanding and opens the door to a world filled with wisdom, guidance, and unconditional love. In moments of doubt or despair, it is this connection that offers clarity, reassurance, and hope, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Through prayer and meditation, we engage with God, inviting him into the very fabric of our daily existence, and in return, he reveals his heart to us. When we cultivate a relationship with God, we begin to understand that he desires not just our obedience, but our companionship. It is a relationship built on trust, where we can share our fears, dreams, and aspirations without hesitation. God listens to our hearts, he cares about our concerns, and this awareness creates a safe space for us to be vulnerable. As we pour out our thoughts and emotions, we find comfort in knowing that he is actively involved in our lives, orchestrating events and guiding us toward our purpose. This interaction deepens our faith and cultivates a sense of belonging that cannot be replicated by any earthly relationship. Furthermore, this relationship with God enriches our understanding of who we are and what we are meant to be. As we seek his presence, we gain insight into our true identities, recognizing that we are more than mere mortals navigating a chaotic world. We are beloved children of the Creator, endowed with gifts, talents, and a unique calling that reflects his glory. This realization empowers us to embrace our potential and pursue our passions, knowing that we are supported by a divine purpose. As we grow in our relationship with God, we begin to see the world through his eyes. Our perspectives shift, enabling us to respond to life's challenges with grace and wisdom. We gain discernment, allowing us to navigate difficult situations with confidence and clarity. God equips us with the tools necessary to face adversity, transforming our weaknesses into strengths and our fears into opportunities for growth. This process of transformation is not instantaneous. It unfolds over time as we walk in faith, trust in his promises, and surrender to his will. Moreover, the relationship we develop with God encourages us to cultivate meaningful connections with others. When we experience God's love in our lives, we become conduits of that love, sharing it with those around us. This divine love fosters a spirit of compassion, empathy, and understanding, allowing us to engage in authentic relationships that enrich our lives and the lives of others. In essence, as we draw closer to God, we are inspired to reflect his love and grace in our interactions, creating a ripple effect that touches the hearts of many. In this divine partnership, God not only leads us, but also empowers us to impact the world in meaningful ways. He calls us to be agents of change, ambassadors of his love, and bearers of his light. This sense of purpose is a driving force that propels us forward, urging us to make a difference in the lives of those around us. When we realize that our lives have significance beyond ourselves, we become motivated to serve, to uplift, and to inspire others, knowing that our actions are rooted in a divine calling. In a world overflowing with distractions and competing priorities, it becomes all too easy to lose sight of our true path. The pursuit of material success, social status, and personal achievements can cloud our judgment, leading us down roads that ultimately leave us unfulfilled and adrift. Without a firm foundation in God, we risk becoming like ships at sea, tossed by the waves of life's uncertainties? This disorientation stems from our natural inclination to seek answers in the temporal rather than the eternal, resulting in a lack of direction and purpose that only deepens our struggles. The absence of God in our lives can lead us to chase after illusions of happiness, falling prey to societal pressures that promote a false sense of success. We may find ourselves measuring our worth against the fleeting standards of the world, believing that our value lies in our possessions or accolades. This mindset fosters a relentless pursuit of more, driving us into a cycle of dissatisfaction and comparison. Without a spiritual anchor, we become susceptible to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and discontent. The reality is that true fulfillment is not found in what we acquire, but in understanding who we are in relation to our Creator. When we turn to God, we gain a perspective that transcends our circumstances. He provides clarity in times of confusion, guiding us to recognize that our worth is not contingent upon external validation, but rooted in our identity as His beloved children. With this understanding, we can navigate life's challenges with confidence, knowing that we are destined for greatness not based on our achievements, but on the intrinsic value bestowed upon us by our Creator. This revelation serves as a powerful reminder that we are part of a larger narrative, one that is woven into the very fabric of God's plan. Furthermore, God's presence in our lives serves as a compass, helping us to discern our true purpose amidst the chaos. When we seek His guidance, we are equipped to make decisions that align with our divine calling. This clarity empowers us to step away from paths that lead to destruction and toward opportunities that foster growth and fulfillment. In essence, our relationship with God illuminates the road ahead, providing the wisdom needed to navigate the complexities of life with grace and assurance. The challenges we encounter are not obstacles meant to hinder us, but rather opportunities designed to deepen our faith and resilience. With God by our side, we are reminded that adversity can serve as a catalyst for growth, shaping our character and strengthening our resolve. Rather than succumbing to despair, we learn to view difficulties through a lens of faith, recognizing that they can lead us closer to our purpose. This transformative process shifts our mindset from one of defeat to one of empowerment, revealing the truth that we are equipped to overcome any trial that comes our way. The need for God becomes increasingly evident when we recognize that life's uncertainties can lead to fear and doubt. Without the assurance of His presence, we may feel overwhelmed by the challenges we face, allowing anxiety to take root in our hearts. Yet, when we anchor ourselves in our relationship with God, we cultivate a sense of peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace equips us to confront life's storms with courage, reminding us that no matter how tumultuous the seas may become, we are held securely in the palm of His hand. In our relentless quest for fulfillment, it is easy to become ensnared by the allure of worldly pursuits. Society often tells us that happiness can be found in wealth, power, and recognition, leading us to chase after these fleeting pleasures in hopes of achieving lasting satisfaction. However, this pursuit often leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled as we realize that the things we once deemed essential do not bring the peace and joy we long for. This disillusionment is a stark reminder of our need for something far greater than what the world can offer, an unshakable foundation rooted in God. As we chase after material success, we may find ourselves investing time and energy into endeavors that ultimately lead to disappointment. The promotions we seek, the possessions we accumulate, and the accolades we achieve can seem significant in the moment, yet they are all subject to the inevitable decay of time. The pursuit of these external markers of success often distracts us from recognizing the deeper fulfillment that comes from knowing our Creator. In this light, we come to understand that true fulfillment is not found in what we acquire, but in the richness of our relationship with God, who provides purpose and meaning beyond our wildest dreams. When we engage with God, we discover that He has designed us for more than mere existence. We are created with unique gifts and talents, endowed with the ability to make a difference in the world around us. This divine purpose is the cornerstone of our fulfillment, guiding us toward a life that resonates with our true calling. As we seek God's guidance, we gain clarity about our strengths, passions, and the impact we are meant to make in the lives of others. This understanding liberates us from the shackles of comparison and competition, allowing us to embrace our individuality with confidence and grace. Moreover, a relationship with God brings a sense of security that cannot be found in the shifting sands of worldly success. When we anchor our identity in Him, we are reassured that our worth is not contingent upon our achievements or the opinions of others. Instead, we come to understand that we are cherished children of God, intricately woven into His grand design. This realization provides a profound sense of peace, freeing us from the pressures to conform to societal expectations. In this divine acceptance, we discover that we are enough, just as we are. Additionally, God's presence transforms our understanding of abundance. The world may define abundance in terms of material wealth, but God invites us into a deeper experience of richness that encompasses love, joy, peace, and fulfillment. When we align ourselves with His will, we begin to see the beauty of life through a different lens, one that recognizes the abundance of blessings surrounding us. This perspective shift allows us to cultivate gratitude, transforming our hearts and minds as we learn to appreciate the simple joys and blessings that often go unnoticed. As we engage in a relationship with God, we discover that fulfillment is not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be embraced. This journey is characterized by growth, learning, and transformation as we navigate the highs and lows of life with God by our side. Each step we take in faith draws us closer to the realization of our purpose, enriching our lives in ways we could never have anticipated. In this divine partnership, we find strength in our weaknesses, hope in our despair, and a sense of belonging that anchors us amidst life's uncertainties. The journey of life is often filled with trials and tribulations that test our strength and resolve. In the face of adversity, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, lost, and isolated. Many find themselves grappling with feelings of fear, insecurity, and uncertainty, which can lead to a sense of hopelessness. However, when we turn to God, we discover that our true strength lies not within ourselves, but in our relationship with the divine. This recognition transforms our understanding of strength, shifting it from a self-reliant perspective to one rooted in reliance on God's infinite power and wisdom. God serves as a wellspring of strength, providing us with the resources we need to face the challenges that life throws our way. When we encounter obstacles that seem insurmountable, we can turn to Him for guidance and support. His presence acts as a source of encouragement, reminding us that we are never alone in our struggles. Through prayer and reflection, we can tap into His strength, allowing it to flow through us and empower us to rise above our circumstances. This divine strength equips us to face adversity with courage, resilience, and unwavering faith. Moreover, when we recognize our need for God, we also begin to understand the importance of surrendering our burdens to Him. In a culture that often celebrates self-sufficiency, admitting our need for assistance can feel counterintuitive. However, it is in this act of surrender that we find liberation. By relinquishing control and placing our trust in God, we open ourselves to His transformative power. He takes our weaknesses, fears, and doubts and replaces them with His strength, instilling in us the confidence to confront challenges head on. As we cultivate a deeper relationship with God, we gain access to His wisdom, which guides our decision-making and fortifies our resolve. In moments of uncertainty, we can seek His counsel, knowing that He sees beyond our immediate circumstances and understands the larger picture of our lives. This divine insight helps us navigate the complexities of life with clarity and purpose. Rather than relying solely on our limited understanding, we learn to lean into His knowledge, allowing it to shape our perspectives and inform our actions. Furthermore, our relationship with God instills in us a sense of purpose that transcends our individual struggles. When we understand that our lives are part of a greater divine plan, we find motivation to persevere even when the road is difficult. God infuses our challenges with meaning, teaching us that every trial can serve as an opportunity for growth and development. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, we learn to see them as stepping stones toward the fulfillment of our purpose. The strength we draw from God not only fortifies us personally, but also enables us to uplift and support others in their journeys. When we experience His strength in our lives, we become conduits of that strength, offering encouragement and hope to those around us. This communal aspect of our faith emphasizes the importance of fellowship, reminding us that we are called to bear one another's burdens. As we extend God's love and support to others, we contribute to a cycle of strength that empowers everyone involved. Additionally, God's presence serves as a reminder of our identity as His beloved children. This understanding is foundational to our self-worth and resilience. When we comprehend our value in God's eyes, we become emboldened to face challenges with confidence. The security found in this divine identity helps us navigate life's trials without succumbing to fear or doubt. Instead of allowing external circumstances to dictate our sense of self, we are anchored in the truth that we are cherished and equipped by the Creator of the universe. In the face of life's uncertainties, God's strength becomes our refuge. When the storms of life threaten to overwhelm us, we can find peace in His presence, knowing that He holds our future in His hands. This assurance allows us to rest in the knowledge that we are supported, guided, and empowered to face whatever comes our way. Our relationship with God transforms our perspective on strength, teaching us that it is not merely about personal resilience, but about the divine power that works within us, enabling us to overcome and thrive in any circumstance. God's word serves as a beacon of light in the darkness, offering timeless truths that transcend cultural norms and societal expectations. When we immerse ourselves in Scripture, we begin to understand His heart and character, gaining insight into the principles that govern a life of righteousness. This divine wisdom equips us to make decisions that align with our values and purpose, empowering us to live authentically in a world that often encourages compromise. As we seek to embody these teachings, we find the courage to stand firm in our beliefs, even when faced with opposition. Moreover, the relationship we cultivate with God nurtures our moral development, shaping our character and guiding our actions. Through prayer and reflection, we open ourselves to His transformative influence, allowing Him to mold us into individuals who reflect His love and righteousness. This process of sanctification is not merely about adhering to a set of rules. It is about embracing a lifestyle that honors God and embodies His values. As we align our lives with His teachings, we become vessels of His grace, impacting those around us through our words and actions. In addition to personal moral guidance, our relationship with God fosters a sense of accountability. When we understand that we are created in His image and called to reflect His nature, we recognize the responsibility that comes with our identity. This awareness compels us to strive for excellence in all that we do, motivating us to live lives that are consistent with our values. By holding ourselves accountable to God's standards, we cultivate a deeper sense of integrity, ensuring that our actions align with our beliefs. Furthermore, God's presence in our lives provides a foundation of unwavering truth in a world filled with relative morality. As society shifts and changes, we often encounter conflicting ideologies that challenge our beliefs and values. In these moments of uncertainty, our relationship with God becomes a refuge, reminding us of the absolute truths that ground our faith. This anchor allows us to discern the lies and deceptions that permeate our culture, empowering us to navigate complex moral dilemmas with wisdom and clarity. The strength of our moral compass is further reinforced by our community of faith. When we engage in fellowship with other believers, we create a supportive environment that encourages accountability and growth. In this space, we can openly discuss our struggles, seek guidance, and celebrate victories together. God uses these relationships to sharpen our understanding of His truth and reinforce our commitment to living according to His principles. As we share our journeys with one another, we cultivate a spirit of encouragement that bolsters our resolve to uphold our moral convictions. Moreover, the teachings of God challenge us to extend our understanding of morality beyond ourselves, prompting us to consider the impact of our actions on others. This perspective shifts our focus from individual gain to collective well-being, emphasizing the importance of compassion, justice, and love in our interactions. When we align our values with God's, we become advocates for those who are marginalized and oppressed, reflecting His heart for humanity. This call to action is a vital aspect of our moral framework, urging us to use our influence to effect positive change in the world around us. As we embrace the moral guidance that God offers, we begin to cultivate a deeper sense of purpose that goes beyond our personal desires. We understand that our lives are intricately woven into His divine plan, and our actions carry weight in the grand narrative of His creation. This awareness instills in us a sense of responsibility to live with integrity, recognizing that our choices can impact generations to come. In this way, our relationship with God not only shapes our personal ethics, but also contributes to the greater good of society as a whole. In the face of life's moral challenges, our connection with God equips us to stand firm in our beliefs and navigate complex situations with grace and wisdom. When we anchor ourselves in His truth, we gain the confidence to make decisions that reflect our values, fostering a life of authenticity and integrity. This journey is not always easy, but it is a path filled with purpose and significance, empowering us to become beacons of light in a world that desperately needs to see the love and righteousness of God manifested through His people. In a society marked by constant change and uncertainty, the quest for meaning and purpose becomes paramount for every individual. People often grapple with existential questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? These inquiries can lead to confusion and a sense of aimlessness when pursued without a divine reference point. The beauty of having a relationship with God is that He provides us with a clear sense of purpose, illuminating our path and helping us understand the unique role we are meant to play in the grand tapestry of life. When we seek God, we discover that we are not random beings thrown into the universe without reason. Instead, we are purposefully created with gifts, talents, and a divine calling that only we can fulfill. This understanding empowers us to embrace our individuality, recognizing that our lives have intrinsic value and significance. As we engage in prayer and reflection, we begin to hear the whisper of God guiding us toward our true calling, revealing the passions and desires that align with His will. God's purpose for our lives transcends the mundane aspects of daily existence. He invites us into a journey of discovery where we learn that our lives are meant to be expressions of His love and grace. This calling compels us to rise above the trivial pursuits of the world, inspiring us to seek after things that have eternal significance. When we align our lives with God's purpose, we experience a profound sense of fulfillment that goes beyond temporary satisfaction, anchoring us in a deeper reality. Moreover, our relationship with God helps us navigate life's challenges by providing a framework for understanding our struggles. When we encounter obstacles and setbacks, we are reminded that these experiences are not meaningless, they are opportunities for growth and development. God uses our difficulties to shape our character and refine our purpose, teaching us resilience and perseverance in the process. This perspective allows us to embrace our trials with a spirit of gratitude, recognizing that they contribute to the unfolding of our divine destiny. In addition to individual purpose, our connection with God emphasizes the importance of community in fulfilling our calling. We are not meant to journey through life alone. Rather, God has designed us to be interconnected, each playing a unique role in the body of Christ. When we come together as a community of believers, we discover that our collective purpose is amplified. Our individual gifts complement one another, creating a powerful synergy that can affect change in the world around us. This understanding fosters a spirit of collaboration and unity, reminding us that we are all part of something greater than ourselves. Furthermore, knowing our purpose in God helps us to establish priorities that align with His will. In a world that bombards us with distractions and competing demands, having clarity about our divine calling allows us to discern what truly matters. We can identify activities and pursuits that contribute to our purpose and let go of those that do not serve us. This intentionality frees us from the burdens of guilt and confusion, empowering us to live authentically in accordance with our values. As we grow in our relationship with God, we begin to realize that our purpose is not solely for our benefit, but for the service of others. God calls us to be agents of change, using our gifts to uplift, encourage, and empower those around us. This perspective shifts our focus from self-centered ambitions to a life of impact and influence as we seek to bless others in the process. When we understand that our purpose is intertwined with the well-being of others, we cultivate a spirit of generosity and compassion that enriches both our lives and the lives of those we encounter. Moreover, a life aligned with God's purpose provides us with a sense of direction that counteracts the confusion of modern existence. In times of uncertainty, we can turn to Him for guidance, trusting that He will illuminate our path. This assurance allows us to navigate the complexities of life with confidence, knowing that we are walking in alignment with His will. As we take steps of faith, we discover that God opens doors of opportunity, leading us to experiences and encounters that resonate with our purpose. Ultimately, our relationship with God cultivates a profound sense of hope that fuels our journey. When we understand that our lives have a divine purpose, we are filled with anticipation for what lies ahead. This hope empowers us to overcome setbacks and challenges, knowing that God is actively working all things together for our good. As we trust in His plan, we find the strength to pursue our calling with tenacity and passion, unafraid of what the future holds. In the fabric of human experience, the reality of suffering and pain is an unavoidable thread that weaves through our lives. Each individual faces trials that test their strength, whether they manifest as personal loss, illness, betrayal, or emotional turmoil. During these challenging moments, the quest for solace and healing becomes paramount. It is in our relationship with God that we find the profound support and comfort we need to navigate life's most difficult seasons. His presence serves as a refuge, providing the healing balm for our wounds and the reassurance that we are never alone in our struggles. The depth of God's love invites us to pour out our hearts in times of distress. When we encounter hardships, we can come to Him with our burdens, fears, and uncertainties. In doing so, we engage in a divine exchange. We relinquish our pain and receive His peace that surpasses all understanding. This sacred dialogue allows us to articulate our feelings, finding a listening ear in God who intimately understands our suffering. By casting our cares upon Him, we open ourselves to His healing touch, which restores our spirits and renews our strength. Furthermore, God does not promise a life devoid of suffering. Rather, He assures us that He will walk with us through our trials. This divine companionship transforms our perspective on pain, helping us to see it not merely as an obstacle, but as an opportunity for growth and transformation. When we lean into God during our darkest moments, we often emerge on the other side with deeper faith, greater resilience, and a clearer understanding of our purpose. The trials we face become the crucibles that refine us, shaping our character and drawing us closer to God. In addition to providing comfort in our individual struggles, God's healing extends to our relationships. Many of life's pains stem from broken connections with others, betrayals, misunderstandings, and emotional wounds that can leave us feeling isolated and hurt. Through a relationship with God, we receive the guidance and wisdom necessary to mend these fractured bonds. He teaches us the importance of forgiveness, empathy, and grace, equipping us to approach our relationships with a heart that reflects His love. This transformation not only facilitates healing within ourselves, but also fosters reconciliation with others, restoring harmony in our lives. Moreover, the healing power of God goes beyond the emotional and relational aspects of our lives. It encompasses physical and spiritual restoration as well. When we acknowledge our need for Him, we invite His divine intervention into our circumstances. God is not only aware of our physical ailments, but is also intimately involved in the healing process. Through prayer, we can seek His guidance in our health journeys, trusting in His ability to restore and rejuvenate our bodies. This faith in His healing power encourages us to be proactive in seeking medical help while simultaneously leaning on God as our ultimate source of healing. The journey of healing often requires patience and perseverance. It can be tempting to seek immediate relief from pain, but God teaches us that true healing is a process that unfolds over time. In our relationship with Him, we learn to trust His timing and purpose, even when we cannot see the way forward. This trust fosters resilience, enabling us to endure the waiting periods with grace and hope. As we lean on Him, we find the strength to face each day, knowing that He is working behind the scenes to bring about our healing and restoration. As we cultivate our relationship with God, we begin to recognize that healing also involves a holistic approach to our well-being. God desires for us to thrive in every aspect of our lives, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally. By seeking Him in all areas, we invite His wisdom and guidance into our daily choices, aligning our lives with practices that promote holistic health. This divine guidance empowers us to make decisions that nurture our well-being, from cultivating healthy relationships to engaging in self-care and seeking professional help when needed. In our pursuit of healing, we also learn the importance of community. God has designed us to thrive in relationship with others, and often healing occurs within the context of supportive and loving connections. As we share our struggles with trusted friends and fellow believers, we create a space for accountability, encouragement, and prayer. This communal aspect of healing reminds us that we do not have to navigate our pain alone. Instead, we can lean on one another, drawing strength from the collective support of those who share our faith. Ultimately, our need for God in times of suffering and pain underscores the profound truth that we were never meant to navigate life's challenges in isolation. His presence provides the support, comfort, and guidance we need to endure and emerge from our trials with newfound strength and purpose. Through our relationship with Him, we discover that healing is not simply about alleviating our pain, but about the transformative power of love that shapes our hearts and minds. In this divine partnership, we learn to trust in God's goodness and grace, embracing the journey of healing with hope and anticipation for the future He has in store for us. The quest for identity is one of the most profound journeys any individual can undertake. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages about who we should be and what we should strive for, it is all too easy to lose sight of our true selves. The myriad of social expectations, cultural norms, and personal experiences can cloud our understanding of who we really are. This is where our need for God becomes paramount. He is the ultimate source of our identity, providing us with a clear understanding of our purpose and value in this world. When we turn to God, we begin to unravel the layers of our existence, discovering the unique design and purpose with which we were created. The Creator knows the intricacies of His creation, and He holds the key to our true identity. In Him, we find assurance that we are not mere accidents of nature, but intentional creations made in His image, endowed with intrinsic worth and purpose. This foundational truth liberates us from the pressure to conform to societal standards that often leave us feeling inadequate or unworthy. As we develop our relationship with God, we gain insights into our inherent strengths and weaknesses. He knows our potential and our limitations better than anyone else. This divine knowledge allows us to embrace who we are without pretense or fear. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we learn to appreciate the unique gifts and talents we possess. God's perspective helps us recognize that our worth is not measured by external achievements or validation from the world, but by the love and grace He freely extends to us. Understanding our identity in God also shifts our focus from self-centered pursuits to a purpose-driven life. We begin to see ourselves as part of a grand narrative woven into the fabric of His divine plan. This realization instills a sense of belonging and connection as we recognize that our lives contribute to a greater purpose beyond our individual experiences. When we anchor our identity in God, we find that we are called to be co-laborers with Him, utilizing our gifts to serve others and fulfill His mission on earth. Moreover, God provides us with a moral and ethical framework that informs our identity. In a world where values often shift, having a divine reference point allows us to anchor our beliefs and actions in something that transcends the transient nature of human opinion. Our identity in Christ becomes a source of strength and resilience, empowering us to stand firm in our convictions despite external pressures. This clarity helps us navigate ethical dilemmas and moral challenges, ensuring that our choices reflect our commitment to God and our understanding of our identity. The journey of discovering our identity is not a solitary one. It is enriched by the community of believers around us. God has designed the body of Christ to function as a support system where we can find encouragement and affirmation as we explore our unique identities. Within this community, we learn to celebrate one another's strengths and gifts, fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and accepted. This mutual support helps us navigate the complexities of identity, allowing us to grow and develop together in faith and purpose. Furthermore, as we embrace our identity in God, we become ambassadors of His love and grace in the world. Our understanding of who we are in Christ empowers us to reflect His character in our interactions with others. We begin to see ourselves as vessels of His compassion, truth, and righteousness, committed to making a positive impact in our communities. This sense of purpose fuels our desire to serve, encouraging us to use our gifts for the benefit of others and to advance His kingdom on earth. As we deepen our relationship with God, we also begin to uncover the dreams and aspirations He has placed within us. He equips us with visions for our lives that align with our true identities. These dreams are not just whimsical ideas, they are divine nudges that guide us toward our purpose. When we submit our ambitions to God, we find clarity and direction, enabling us to pursue endeavors that resonate with our identities and contribute to His mission. This alignment infuses our pursuits with meaning and significance, motivating us to persevere in the face of challenges. Additionally, our relationship with God fosters a spirit of humility that is essential for understanding our identity. In recognizing that our worth comes from Him, we become less consumed with our own desires and more focused on serving others. This humility allows us to see ourselves in relation to the larger community, reminding us that our identities are intricately connected to the people around us. As we embrace this perspective, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude, appreciating the diverse identities and contributions of those within our sphere of influence. Finally, our need for God in shaping our identity becomes even more critical in a world marked by uncertainty and change. As we navigate the complexities of life, we can cling to the unchanging truth of who we are in Him. This foundation provides stability amid the chaos, allowing us to maintain our identity regardless of external circumstances. When we understand our worth in God's eyes, we become resilient in the face of adversity, equipped to rise above the challenges that life presents. In this journey of discovering our identity, we find that our relationship with God is not merely beneficial, it is essential. He offers us the clarity, purpose, and strength we need to navigate the complexities of life with confidence. Through His guidance, we uncover our unique gifts and the role we play in His divine plan. By anchoring our identities in Him, we not only embrace who we are, but also reflect His love and grace to the world around us, living out the truth that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. In a world brimming with distractions and superficial pursuits, the pursuit of fulfillment and true satisfaction is often elusive. Many people chase after success, material possessions, and fleeting pleasures, believing these will bring them happiness. Yet these pursuits often lead to disappointment and emptiness, revealing a deeper longing that cannot be satisfied by worldly means. This is where the need for God becomes evident. He is the source of lasting fulfillment and joy, providing a profound sense of satisfaction that transcends external circumstances. When we seek fulfillment in our relationship with God, we begin to understand that true contentment comes from within. It is not contingent upon our achievements or possessions, but rather on our connection to the divine. God fills the void in our hearts with His presence, offering a deep-seated peace that surpasses all understanding. This inner fulfillment is not a fleeting emotion. It is a state of being that emanates from knowing we are loved, accepted, and valued by our Creator. God invites us into a relationship that is characterized by intimacy and communion. As we draw near to Him, we find that He reveals the depths of His love for us, dispelling the lies of inadequacy and worthlessness that often plague our minds. This revelation transforms our understanding of ourselves, allowing us to experience a profound sense of identity and belonging. When we know we are cherished by God, we no longer seek validation from external sources. Instead, we find our worth anchored in His unfailing love. Moreover, the fulfillment found in God invites us to explore our unique purpose and calling. Each of us has been designed with intention, endowed with gifts and talents that reflect His glory. As we cultivate our relationship with Him, we discover the passions that ignite our souls and the desires that align with His will. This alignment infuses our lives with meaning as we pursue endeavors that resonate with our divine purpose. Fulfillment emerges when we actively engage in the work God has prepared for us, using our gifts to serve others and contribute to His kingdom. In addition to personal fulfillment, our relationship with God cultivates a sense of community and connection with others. God has created us to thrive in relationship, and as we experience His love, we are compelled to share that love with those around us. This act of loving and serving others not only enriches our lives, but also fosters a sense of belonging within a larger community of believers. The bonds we form in Christ provide support, encouragement, and a shared sense of purpose, enhancing our overall sense of fulfillment. Furthermore, God provides us with wisdom and guidance that is essential for navigating the complexities of life. In our pursuit of fulfillment, we often face decisions and challenges that can leave us feeling overwhelmed. However, when we seek God's counsel, He imparts wisdom that illuminates our path. This divine guidance empowers us to make choices that align with our values and purpose, leading to a deeper sense of fulfillment. The assurance that we are walking in accordance with God's will alleviates the stress and anxiety that often accompany life's uncertainties. The fulfillment we find in God also transcends the trials and tribulations of life. While challenges are inevitable, our relationship with Him equips us with the strength and resilience needed to face adversity. Rather than succumbing to despair, we can approach difficulties with a sense of hope, knowing that God is with us every step of the way. This hope sustains us, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, there is a greater purpose at work. Our trials become opportunities for growth and transformation, allowing us to emerge with a deeper understanding of God's faithfulness. Moreover, the fulfillment derived from our relationship with God encourages us to cultivate a spirit of gratitude. When we recognize the abundance of His blessings in our lives, we are filled with appreciation for both the big and small things. This gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering contentment in our hearts. As we express gratitude to God, we also become more aware of the blessings in the lives of others, inspiring us to share in their joy and support them in their struggles. As we grow in our relationship with God, we learn the importance of aligning our desires with His will. Our understanding of fulfillment deepens as we recognize that our ultimate satisfaction comes from living in harmony with His purpose. This alignment requires surrender and trust, allowing God to shape our desires according to His plans. In this process, we often discover that the things we thought would bring us fulfillment pale in comparison to the joy found in obediently following His lead. Additionally, the journey toward fulfillment is not one we embark on alone. God has placed individuals in our lives who can encourage and support us along the way. As we build authentic relationships within our faith community, we find that we are not isolated in our struggles or pursuits. Together, we can celebrate victories, share burdens, and hold one another accountable as we seek to fulfill our divine callings. This communal aspect of fulfillment reminds us that we are part of a larger narrative, each contributing to the beautiful tapestry of God's purpose. Ultimately, our need for God in the pursuit of fulfillment is rooted in the truth that He alone can satisfy the deepest longings of our hearts. The fleeting pleasures of this world may offer momentary satisfaction, but they cannot provide the lasting joy that comes from knowing Him. In our relationship with God, we find the source of true contentment, a fulfillment that there's a profound truth about relationships and human behavior that we must understand if we are to live wisely and with discernment. People often walk away from us, leave us wounded, or cause us pain. Yet, in time, some of these same individuals find their way back into our lives. This return can confuse us, stirring up old wounds and questions we thought we have left behind. When someone comes back after hurting you, it is rarely because they have suddenly discovered your value. Instead, it is often because life has shown them the absence of what you brought to their world. They begin to realize the light you carried, the support you gave, and the unique essence that only you possess. It's a realization that usually comes not from their transformation, but from the emptiness they face without you. But this is where wisdom is required. Not every return is a sign of reconciliation. Sometimes it is a test of your growth. Pain has a way of teaching us lessons we cannot ignore. When someone hurts you, it forces you to look within, to grow stronger, and to learn the boundaries that protect your soul. So when they return, it is not always about welcoming them back. It is about discerning whether their presence aligns with who you have become. People often mistake kindness for weakness and assume that forgiveness means reinstating them to the same place in your life. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself, not about giving them permission to repeat the cycle. You see, people are drawn back to what they did not appreciate before, but the return should never compromise the lessons you have learned. Ego offidable. People often mistake kindness for weakness and assume that people are drawn back to what they did not appreciate before. When someone comes back, ask yourself, have they changed? Or are they merely seeking comfort because of the consequences of their own choices? Do their words match their actions? And most importantly, does their presence support your purpose and your peace? You are not a holding place for someone who cannot commit to valuing you. Your life is sacred, And every person you allow into it must understand the weight of that privilege. Growth means learning to let go of those who diminish your worth and embracing those who uplift and honor it. Understand this. When people return, it's often because they are seeking what they lost. But you must decide whether their return aligns with the direction you are headed. Life is about moving forward, not backward. And sometimes the best way to protect your future is to lovingly release those who are not meant to journey with you further. Let them see that you have become stronger, wiser, and more complete. Let them witness that the pain they caused did not break you but refined you. And let them understand that your life is no longer a space for anything less than mutual respect, love, and purpose. When people return after causing pain, it is often because they have come face to face with the void left in their lives by your absence. They may not have understood your worth when you were present, but life has a way of teaching lessons through loss. The things you gave, your kindness, support, love, and presence, created an atmosphere that they grew accustomed to, but failed to appreciate. Once that atmosphere is gone, they begin to feel the difference, and their return is less about their change and more about the emptiness they now face. It's important to recognize that their realization doesn't always stem from remorse or a deep personal transformation. Sometimes it's born out of regret or the inconvenience of living without the benefits they once enjoyed. Your care, your encouragement, or even the stability you brought may have been so seamless that they didn't see it as something unique. But now, without it, they are reminded that not every person in their life carries the same light. This is why their return can feel confusing. It may seem like they've come back because they value you more, but often they are simply reacting to their own discomfort. Their feelings of loss are not necessarily tied to genuine change. Rather, they are tied to the ease and comfort they associated with your presence. This is why discernment is vital when someone comes back after hurting you. They may have finally recognized what they lost, but that recognition alone does not guarantee their intentions or actions align with your growth or well-being. The absence of your presence often speaks louder than your presence ever did. While you were there, giving your time, energy, and love, it may have seemed like the things you offered were easily replaceable. But when you step away, when you remove your light, the void that remains exposes just how unique and irreplaceable you truly are. People often don't realize the depth of what they have until they are forced to face life without it. Your presence wasn't just about the physical. It was the emotional support, the silent encouragement, the patience you extended, and the unwavering belief you had in them, even when they didn't believe in themselves. These qualities are not common, but they are often taken for granted when freely given. When you're no longer there to provide these gifts, the weight of their absence becomes undeniable. Life without you begins to reveal what they could not see while they were with you. The moments of comfort, the peace you brought, and the effort you put into nurturing them stand out in stark contrast to what remains. They begin to recognize that what you contributed was not just significant, it was foundational to their well-being. But this recognition often comes too late, after the damage has been done, and they are left grappling with the emptiness your absence has created. It's not uncommon for people to try to fill that void elsewhere, seeking the same qualities they overlooked in you. Yet they quickly find that what you brought to their life cannot be duplicated. No one else carries the same blend of understanding, love, and energy that you offered so willingly. It's in this realization that they feel compelled to return, hoping to recapture what they have lost. But it's important to remember that their recognition of your worth now doesn't undo the fact that they failed to honor it when they had it. Your presence was a gift, and the absence of it is not a punishment. It is simply a natural consequence of their inability to value what they were given. The emptiness they now feel is not your responsibility to fill, and their return does not automatically entitle them to the privilege of your presence again. But when someone who caused you pain comes back into your life, it is not always a sign of reconciliation or restoration. Many times their return is a test, not of their intentions, but of your growth and understanding. Life often brings back the very people who once hurt you, not to rekindle what was lost, but to measure how far you have come since the moment they walked away. Their reappearance can stir up emotions you thought you had buried. Memories resurface, both good and bad, and you may find yourself questioning whether their return is meant to mend what was broken or to challenge the boundaries you have since established. This is where wisdom and self-awareness must take center stage. Their return is not a simple answer to unfinished business. It is an opportunity to reflect on the lessons you learned from their absence. The pain they caused was a catalyst for your transformation. It taught you resilience, self-respect, and the importance of guarding your heart. Their return can test whether those lessons have truly taken root or whether you are still vulnerable to the same patterns that led to the hurt. It is not enough for them to come back with words of regret or promises of change. What truly matters is your ability to discern their motives and decide whether their presence is something you still need in your life. Growth means recognizing that not everyone who returns should be allowed back into the sacred space of your heart. Sometimes their return is not about fixing the relationship, but about showing you how much stronger and wiser you have become. It's a moment to affirm that you have moved forward and are no longer the person who would tolerate what once broke you. Let their return remind you of how far you've come, not how far you could go with them. Their presence in your life now is not a requirement for your healing or your future. Sometimes the greatest test is learning to let go even when they come back and choosing to protect the peace and growth you have worked so hard to achieve. Their return may be a test, but the answers lie in the strength you have gained from the journey you walked without them. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts you can engage in, but it is often misunderstood. Many people believe that forgiving someone who hurt you means opening the door for them to return to the same place in your life. This could not be further from the truth. Forgiveness is about liberating yourself from the weight of anger, resentment, and bitterness. It is about breaking the chains that tie you to the pain of what they did, but it does not mean you are obligated to restore them to the position they once held. When you forgive, you take back your power. You no longer allow the hurt to dictate your thoughts, emotions, or actions. Forgiveness allows you to heal, to move forward, and to reclaim your peace. It is a gift you give yourself, not necessarily an invitation to the person who hurt you to re-enter your life unchanged. Forgiveness and restoration are two separate things, and understanding this distinction is critical to protecting your heart and your growth. Restoration requires more than an apology. It demands evidence of change, a genuine acknowledgement of the pain caused, and consistent actions that align with their words. Forgiveness, however, does not require any of that. It is an internal decision to release the burden of holding on to the offense. It is an act of grace that frees you, not a signal to them that everything can return to how it was before. When someone comes back after hurting you, they may expect your forgiveness to automatically mean reconciliation. They may believe that your willingness to let go of the pain means they can step back into your life as if nothing happened. But this is where wisdom must guide your decisions. Forgiving someone does not erase the lessons their actions taught you. It does not mean ignoring the boundaries you have established or the growth you have achieved in their absence. Forgiveness is about closing a chapter of pain, but restoration is about deciding whether a new chapter with them is worth writing. It is not a denial of the past, but a commitment to a future that protects your peace and purpose. You can forgive someone fully and still choose to keep them at a distance. In doing so, you honor the person you have become and the journey that brought you here. Forgiveness sets you free, but it does not demand that you compromise your growth or your boundaries. Kindness is often misunderstood by those who take it for granted. When you extend forgiveness, grace, or a helping hand to someone who has hurt you, they may mistake your kindness for weakness. They may assume that because you have chosen to let go of the pain, you are willing to accept their behavior without question or consequence. But true kindness is not rooted in weakness. It is a reflection of strength, character, and a heart that values peace over conflict. Choosing to be kind even after being hurt is not an invitation for mistreatment. It is a declaration of who you are, a person who refuses to let bitterness take root. It is the ability to rise above the pain and respond in a way that reflects your values, not their actions. But being kind does not mean you have to lower your standards or allow the cycle of hurt to continue. Kindness is not an open door for those who seek to exploit your compassion. It is a choice to act in alignment with your integrity. When someone who has hurt you returns, your kindness may tempt them to think that you have forgotten the pain they caused or that you are willing to overlook it entirely. But kindness does not erase accountability. Being kind does not mean you ignore the lessons you have learned or the boundaries you have set to protect yourself. It is possible to be kind and still demand respect. It is possible to show grace and still require change. The strength of kindness lies in its balance. It allows you to forgive without losing yourself, to extend grace without compromising your values, and to offer understanding without tolerating disrespect. When they come back, your kindness should not be a sign that you are willing to let them repeat the same mistakes. Instead, it should be a reflection of the strength you have gained, the strength to be compassionate without being exploited, to be open-hearted without being vulnerable to harm. Your kindness is a gift, not a weakness. It is a reflection of your ability to rise above the actions of others and remain true to yourself. But it is also a boundary, a way of showing that while you are strong enough to forgive, you are also wise enough to protect your peace and purpose. Being kind does not mean you allow someone to stay in your life. It means you release the need for revenge and choose to walk in the strength of love, wisdom, and self-respect. Time reveals the truth in ways that words and intentions never can. When someone comes back into your life after causing you pain, it is often their actions over time that will reveal the sincerity of their return. Promises can be made in the heat of emotion. Apologies can flow freely, but true change is never instant. It is demonstrated in consistent behavior, in the choices they make when no one is watching, and in their willingness to prioritize healing over convenience. If they truly understand the pain they cause, their actions will reflect a deep commitment to doing better, not just saying better. Time has a way of stripping away pretense, exposing the real motives behind their return. Are they here because they have genuinely changed, or are they seeking to regain access to the benefits they once took for granted? Words may be persuasive, but only time can reveal whether those words are rooted in truth. Their sincerity will show not in grand gestures or dramatic promises, but in the little things they do consistently. It will show in their willingness to respect your boundaries, to listen without defensiveness, and to take accountability without excuses. True change is rarely loud. It is quiet, steady, and unmistakable. It doesn't demand immediate trust. It earns it patiently, understanding that rebuilding what was broken takes effort and humility. You are not obligated to rush back into familiarity just because they have returned. Time allows you to observe without pressure, to see whether their actions align with their words, and to decide whether their presence now contributes to your peace and growth. It also gives you the space to reflect on how their return fits into your life. Have they come back to honor the person you are today, or are they hoping to reconnect with the version of you they once knew? Rushing to open the door without allowing time to reveal the truth can lead to repeating cycles of hurt. Patience is your ally when someone comes back. Time not only shows you their intentions, but also gives you the clarity to assess whether their return aligns with the journey you are on. If their actions over time do not reflect true change, then their return is not a blessing, but a reminder of why you moved forward without them. Let time be your guide, and let their actions speak louder than their words. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out, but guardrails that protect the peace and growth you have worked so hard to achieve. When someone who has hurt you returns, it is crucial to recognize that their presence alone does not erase the need for these boundaries. In fact, their return can be a test of whether you are willing to uphold the standards you set for yourself in their absence. So, establishing boundaries is an act of self-respect. It is a way of saying that your peace, your time, and your emotional well-being are too valuable to be taken lightly. When they come back, they may push against these boundaries, hoping to regain the access they once had. They might try to remind you of the connection you shared, or appeal to your emotions, hoping you will lower your guard. But this is where you must remain steadfast. Boundaries are not meant to punish, they are meant to protect. If their intentions are genuine, they will respect the limits you have set. They will understand that your boundaries are not a rejection of them, but a reflection of the growth and healing you have undergone. True respect for you means honoring the space you have created and being willing to earn trust over time. If they truly value their return to your life, they will not see your boundaries as an obstacle, but as a guide to rebuilding the relationship in a healthier, more respectful way. However, if they resist your boundaries, it is a clear sign that their return is not rooted in respect or growth. People who genuinely care about you will not pressure you to compromise your values or sacrifice your peace. They will understand that your boundaries are non-negotiable because they were forged in the fire of lessons learned. They will not seek to bypass them for their convenience, but will instead demonstrate patience and understanding. It's not a feeling you get from the sunshine. Your boundaries are a reflection of the person you have become. They show that you value yourself enough to require that others treat you with the same respect and consideration you give to them. Let your boundaries be the filter through which you determine whether their return is a blessing or a distraction. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and those who cannot honor your boundaries are not entitled to a place in your life. Protect what you have built, and let your boundaries be the standard that separates those who are meant to stay from those who are meant to remain in the past. When someone who has hurt you returns, it is natural to wonder if their reappearance means they have truly changed. But change is not something that can be dictated by words alone. It is a process that requires action, consistency, and time. If their return is not followed by a visible transformation in behavior, you must ask yourself whether it is wise to re-enter a relationship that has the potential to hurt you again. True change is not an overnight shift, nor is it a result of guilt or regret alone. It is a deep internal transformation that is evident in the way a person chooses to live their life and treat others. Often when people come back after causing pain, they are seeking closure or redemption. But redemption cannot be purchased with words or promises. It must be earned through tangible actions and the courage to demonstrate that they have learned from their past mistakes. You must remember that someone's return is not an automatic invitation to accept them back into your life, especially if their actions have not changed. Words may be spoken, apologies may be offered, but if their behavior remains the same, those apologies become empty gestures rather than the foundation for a meaningful relationship. The real question to ask yourself when they return is whether you can trust that the person standing before you is different from the one who caused you pain. This requires a level of discernment and a willingness to protect your heart. Change is often painful, and it can take time for someone to prove that they are truly different. If they are genuine in their desire for reconciliation, they will not only speak differently, but they will also act differently. They will show you that they have learned from their mistakes, not by telling you how they have changed, but by demonstrating through their behavior that they have truly evolved. It is essential to recognize that even if they have changed, you may not be the same person you were when they first hurt you. You have grown, healed, and developed new perspectives. What once seemed acceptable to you may no longer be something you are willing to tolerate. Your standards, your boundaries, and your expectations may have shifted as a result of the pain you endured and the lessons you learned. And that is okay. You are not obligated to accept someone back into your life simply because they have changed. You must decide whether their change aligns with who you have become. Their return should not be an opportunity for you to regress into old patterns or reconnect with someone who no longer serves your well-being. It should be a moment for you to evaluate whether the relationship in its new form enhances your life or whether it is best left in the past. True growth comes when you recognize that you have the power to choose who belongs in your life. If someone is truly different, they will respect your growth and your decision, understanding that you are no longer the person they once knew. True change means not just saying the right things, but living them with integrity and consistency, earning back the trust and respect that was lost. And you, in turn, must be willing to honor your own growth and decide whether their return aligns with the person you are today. When someone returns after having hurt you, it's not just about their actions or intentions, it's also about what they need from you. Often the people who hurt don't fully recognize depth of their actions until they experience the loss of your presence in their lives. Your absence, your withdrawal of emotional investment can sometimes serve as a wake-up call for them. It forces them to confront the reality of the damage they caused. But it's important to recognize that this return may not always be motivated by genuine remorse or a desire to make things right. Sometimes they come back because they realize that the relationship they once had with you is something they can no longer take for granted. There is a certain truth to the idea that people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. When they had you, they may have taken your presence, your love, and your support for granted, not understanding the value of what they had until it was lost. The pain you endured in their absence, the way you withdrew your energy, is often the catalyst for them to realize that they made a mistake. But this realization, though significant, does not always equate to genuine change. They may come back because they want to reclaim what they lost, not because they have truly grown or learned from their mistakes. It's also crucial to understand that when someone returns after hurting you, they might be coming back for the wrong reasons, because they feel the void of your absence, or because they miss the comfort you provided. However, their return does not necessarily mean they are ready to give you what you truly need. It's important to ask yourself whether their return is a selfish attempt to fulfill their own emotional needs, or whether it is a sincere effort to restore balance, trust, and respect in the relationship. Sometimes people come back because they are seeking validation, comfort, or the familiarity of the relationship they once had. But they may not be prepared to meet you where you are now. When they come back to seek what they lost, they often forget that regaining your trust and affection is not automatic. It requires more than just wanting you back. It requires demonstrating a willingness to understand the hurt they cause and the commitment to never repeating their actions. It's not enough for them to simply feel that they need you in their life again. They must prove through actions, not words, that they are worthy of your presence, worthy of your love, and worthy of the position they once held in your life. If they are coming back only because they miss the benefits of the relationship without understanding the responsibility that comes with it, they may fail to see that your absence was not just a loss for them, but an opportunity for you to grow, heal, and become stronger. The real question then is whether they are ready to show up differently, to offer something new, to contribute to your growth rather than merely seek to fulfill their own needs. How? If their return is not about mutual growth and respect, but simply about reclaiming their place in your life for their own benefit, you must recognize this for what it is and protect your own well-being. There is a powerful truth about life and relationships. What people experience in their absence from you often becomes their greatest teacher. When someone has hurt you and then returns, it is important to realize that their absence was not just about the space between you two. It was also about them being forced to confront the consequences of their action. The void they felt in your absence is a direct result of their behavior. And this void is often where the greatest transformation can happen. This is the moment when they have to reflect on the loss they caused, and more importantly, on what it means for them as individuals. It is not uncommon for people to need time and distance to understand the true weight of their actions. And sometimes this space brings them the clarity they need to recognize their mistakes. What they experienced during this absence can be a form of emotional education, one that can lead to growth. In the absence of your presence, they are often confronted with the reality that they took you for granted. They see the repercussions of their behavior, not just in terms of your absence, but in the way their life has been affected by your withdrawal. Sometimes it's only when they are forced to feel the loss of you in their life that they begin to understand the true value of what they had. Your absence serves as a mirror, reflecting back to them the emptiness created by their action. But this realization comes with its own set of challenges. It's not enough for them to feel the loss. They must be willing to do the necessary work to ensure they are not repeating the same mistakes. If they are coming back, they are not just trying to regain your presence. They are consciously or unconsciously seeking a second chance at the painful truth is that many times people do not fully understand the magnitude of their hurt until they are the ones left with the consequences. They may have never realized the full emotional toll they were placing on you, and now that they are without you, they finally understand that the absence of your love, care, and attention creates a deep hole in their life. However, it's crucial to remember that while their return may be driven by the realization of this loss, it does not mean they are automatically ready to prove that they have learned from the experience. Feeling the void of your absence is one thing, but the key question is whether they are truly prepared to fill that void with positive actions. It is not enough for them to simply recognize the mistake. They must show you through consistent and meaningful change that they are ready to honor the trust they once broke. It's the transformation they undergo in the wake of your absence that will determine whether their return is something you should embrace, or whether it's simply another cycle of hurt waiting to happen. Their return should not be seen as an automatic invitation to take them back into your life. It must be seen for what it truly is, a moment of reckoning for them, a realization of the impact of their actions. It is through this moment of self-awareness that they have the chance to evolve into a better version of themselves. And it is through their actions in the future, through their willingness to grow and change, that you can determine whether their return is worth the risk of reopening your heart. Just as their absence created a space for growth and reflection, their return can be a chance for both of you to test whether that growth is real, sustained, and rooted in genuine change. In conclusion, when someone who has hurt you returns, it is not simply a matter of reopening the door to your life. It is an opportunity to evaluate the authenticity of their intentions, the sincerity of their growth, and the depth of their understanding of the pain they caused. Their return is a reflection of both their need for redemption and your responsibility to protect the peace, boundaries, and growth you have worked so hard to establish. Whether or not you choose to welcome them back into your life depends on their willingness to prove through their actions that they have truly changed. Remember, you are not obligated to repeat the past. Your journey is about healing, evolving, and ensuring that the people in your life contribute to your well-being, growth, and peace. Just as you are capable of forgiveness, you are also capable of discerning whether someone's return is a genuine opportunity for healing or merely a temporary phase of regret. Ultimately, you must always protect your peace, honor your growth, and choose relationships that add value to your life. Let your boundaries, your self-respect, and your journey forward guide your decision. For you are the one who has the power to determine who deserves a place in your life and who must remain in the past. You see, there are moments in life when you have to understand your worth, your value, and the impact that you bring to the world. And sometimes you might not even realize the extent of it until you walk away. The truth is, when you step away from situations, relationships, or environments that are toxic, draining, or no longer serving your purpose, they will begin to feel your absence. There are people who may not appreciate you when you're there, but once you remove yourself from their presence, they begin to feel the weight of your absence. This is not because you're trying to make them feel bad, but because you carry something within you that they have taken for granted. Your presence in their life was a blessing that they couldn't see until it was gone. Your absence will speak louder than words ever could. It will make them reflect on the times they took you for granted, the opportunities they missed, the moments they let slip by. You see, when you have something valuable, something irreplaceable, people start to realize its worth when it's no longer in front of them. The silence after you leave speaks volumes. This is why you must always know your worth. You must understand that not everyone will recognize it, and that's okay. Some people will only realize the treasure they had once they no longer have access to it. But that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your peace, to protect your purpose, and to walk away when the time comes. When you leave, the world will feel it. When you leave, they will feel the gap, the void, the loss. They will see that they cannot replace what you brought into their lives. And though they may try to move on, the absence of your unique energy, your love, your presence will haunt them. Because there are things that can be replaced, objects, possessions, but not the essence of who you are. You were designed to be a blessing, not just to remain in places where you are undervalued. You were designed to add value wherever you go. So when they feel your absence, let it be a reminder to them that your value was never in how much you gave or stayed, but in how much you grew, how much you elevated those around you. Your absence is not a curse, it's a revelation. It's a moment for them to see who you were and what they lost. Don't regret walking away. Never regret removing yourself from spaces where you weren't being nurtured, respected, or loved. Because when they feel your absence, it will be the greatest lesson they ever receive. And just like that, your absence will be a powerful testimony to the strength you carry and the greatness within you. Stand in the truth of your worth and let them feel your absence, because it's the only way they'll know the power you bring to the table. People often don't recognize the value you bring to their lives while you're still there, because familiarity breeds complacency. They get used to your kindness, your support, your wisdom, and your unique energy. It becomes so normal to them that they begin to see it as something they're entitled to, rather than a gift you've chosen to share. Your presence is a blessing, a divine deposit that enhances their lives, but it's often overlooked because it's consistent, reliable, and always available. It's not their fault entirely, because sometimes we all fail to see the value of a light until it's gone. But the truth remains, your presence is a blessing. It uplifts, strengthens, and nurtures those around you. Yet, that blessing is not something to be abused, taken for granted, or assumed. It's a privilege for anyone to share in the abundance of who you are, and when that privilege is overlooked, it begins to fade. When you walk into a room, you bring something unique, something that cannot be replicated or replaced. Whether it's your wisdom, your compassion, your humor, or simply your ability to listen, your presence is a divine gift tailored by God to make an impact in the lives of others. And when people fail to honor that gift, they may not feel the loss immediately, but over time, they will come to realize that what you brought into their lives was more significant than they ever imagined. Your presence is not just about what you do, it's about who you are. It's the atmosphere you create, the energy you exude, the inspiration you provide. It's a reflection of your purpose, your calling, and the unique way in which you've been designed. People may not always see it, but that doesn't diminish its power. Your presence is a manifestation of the blessings you carry within you, and whether they acknowledge it or not, their lives are better because you're in it. So when the time comes that they feel your absence, they will realize that your presence was never ordinary. It was extraordinary, a rare and beautiful gift that made their world brighter, even when they failed to say thank you. When you step away, your absence begins to speak a language that your presence could not. While you were there, your actions, your love, and your sacrifices may have been taken for granted, misunderstood, or even ignored. But once you leave, the silence of your absence becomes deafening. It's in this silence that people begin to feel the weight of what they lost. Your absence creates a void, a space that was once filled with your energy, your wisdom, and your kindness. That void becomes impossible to ignore. The impact of absence is profound because it forces others to confront what they once overlooked. They start to notice the little things that were part of you, the way you supported them, the encouragement you provided, the calm you brought in moments of chaos. These things, which may have seemed so small or routine while you were there, suddenly become glaringly significant when they're no longer available. Absence has a way of magnifying the value of what once was, and in that magnification, it teaches lessons that presence often could not. When you're gone, they begin to see how much of their stability depended on you. They feel the emptiness in conversations that lack your insight, the disconnection in relationships that no longer have your empathy, and the challenges that now seem heavier without your strength. It's not that your absence is meant to hurt them, it's that it unveils the truth of how much you carried, how much you contributed, and how deeply you mattered. Your absence exposes their reliance on what you brought into their lives. They start to realize that the things they thought were replaceable are anything but. They may try to fill the gap with other people, distractions, or even denial, but the unique essence of who you are cannot be duplicated. Absence has a way of highlighting the irreplaceable, and in doing so, it brings a clarity that presence often cannot. It is in your absence that they learn what your presence truly meant. And while they are left to feel the loss, you are reminded of the power you hold. The fact that your absence can create such an impact is a testament to the value you carry. It's proof that what you brought to the table was never ordinary, it was extraordinary. So never underestimate the power of stepping away, for it allows others to see what they fail to acknowledge. Your absence is not just felt, it's a revelation of your significance. When they feel your absence, something remarkable begins to happen. They are forced to reflect. Reflection is a powerful process because it compels people to look back and examine their actions, their attitudes, and their treatment of you. In your presence, they may have overlooked the effort you put into the relationship, the sacrifices you made, or the love you gave without expecting anything in return. But in your absence, they cannot escape the reality of what they've lost. Suddenly, the moments they dismissed as ordinary take on a new meaning. The times you showed up for them, even when it wasn't convenient for you, now stand out in sharp contrast to the void they feel. The encouragement you gave, which they once took for granted, now echoes in their minds as something they deeply miss. Every kind word, every act of service, and every gesture of love begins to replay in their memories, reminding them of how much they benefited from having you in their life. Reflection in your absence also reveals the missed opportunities, times when they could have said thank you, times when they could have reciprocated your kindness, or times when they should have appreciated your presence more. These moments of regret and realization can be painful for them, but they are necessary. It is through this reflection that people come to terms with the value you added to their lives and the fact that they may have squandered it. This process of reflection can also bring about a transformation in their perspective. They start to see the depth of what you offered, your wisdom, your patience, your unwavering support, and how it shaped their lives for the better. They begin to recognize that their lives were enriched by you in ways they hadn't fully understood before. Reflection becomes the bridge between what they had and what they lost, and it is in this space that the lessons of your absence become clear. In your absence, they are given the chance to grow. They are confronted with the truth about themselves and their behavior toward you. Perhaps they will learn to value others more deeply, to express gratitude more openly, and to never take someone's presence for granted again. Your absence becomes not just a void, but a mirror that forces them to see what they missed when you were there. And while they are busy reflecting, you can move forward knowing that their realization is a testament to your value. It is proof that your presence was significant enough to leave an impression that lingers long after you've gone. So let them reflect, let them learn, and let them feel the weight of their missed opportunities, for it is in their reflection that the full impact of your absence will be revealed. Understanding your worth is one of the most powerful realizations you can have in life. When you truly know your value, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop staying in places where you're not appreciated, and you no longer tolerate relationships that drain you rather than uplift you. Recognizing your worth is not arrogance, it's an acknowledgement of the unique gifts, qualities, and purpose that God has placed within you. It's about knowing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that your presence is a divine asset to anyone who has the privilege of experiencing it. When you know your worth, you begin to see situations and relationships for what they truly are. You can discern when someone values you for who you are versus when they're simply using you for what you provide. This awareness gives you the strength to walk away from environments that fail to honor your presence. Walking away isn't about punishing others. It's about protecting your peace, your purpose, and the unique calling on your life. It's about ensuring that your energy and time are invested in places and people who align with your values and your destiny. The act of walking away can be difficult, especially when you've poured so much of yourself into others. But knowing your worth means understanding that your value doesn't decrease just because someone else failed to recognize it. It means trusting that God has greater plans for you, and that leaving behind what doesn't serve you is necessary for your growth. Your worth is not up for negotiation, and it's not dependent on the opinions or actions of others. It's intrinsic, rooted in the very essence of who you are. When you walk away, it sends a powerful message, not just to others, but to yourself. It's a declaration that you refuse to stay in places where your light is dimmed, your efforts are unappreciated, or your voice is ignored. It's a reminder that you deserve to be surrounded by people who see your value and reciprocate it with love, respect, and support. Knowing your worth empowers you to create boundaries that protect your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Understand that when people leave, they are doing you a favor, whether they know it or not. They are giving you the opportunity to realize your true power and to step fully into your potential. Their absence allows you to become the person you were always meant to be. It's not always easy, and it may hurt for a time, but the growth that comes from these experiences will propel you forward in ways you cannot yet imagine. The space they leave will be filled with the right people, opportunities, and blessings that will help you fulfill your purpose in ways you never thought possible. There will always be moments when others begin to question your path, your decisions, and your dreams. It can be difficult when people you care about, people who you thought were your supporters, begin to doubt you or even try to convince you that your dreams are too big or unrealistic. They may tell you that your vision is too grand, that you should settle for something more practical or realistic. They may attempt to place limits on you based on their own fears or insecurities. But here's the powerful truth you need to embrace. What they see as too big is actually a sign that you are on the right track. When others tell you that your vision is too big, too far-reaching, or beyond your capacity, they are not seeing your potential. They are seeing their own limitations projected onto you. They are telling you what they would do in your shoes, not what you are capable of. They are limited by their own thinking, but you are not. Your vision is not limited by their perspective or understanding. It's limited only by the faith you place in it and the courage you have to pursue it. The fact that others can't see your dream clearly doesn't mean it's not possible. It means that your vision is so far beyond their capacity to comprehend that they can't fathom how it could come to pass. You see, when God places a dream in your heart, it's often so big, so extraordinary, that it will challenge every belief and comfort zone of those around you. And that's exactly how you know it's from God. When your vision is so big that it seems impossible to the human mind, that's when you know you're about to step into something extraordinary. God does not place small, easy dreams in your heart. He places visions that will require all of your faith, all of your courage, and all of your trust in Him. But here's the key. When people tell you that your vision is too big, don't shrink it. Don't make it smaller to make them comfortable. Don't lower the standard of your dream just to get approval from others. If you begin to doubt your vision because of what others say, you'll miss the opportunity to see God move in ways that will astonish you. If you begin to downsize your dream to fit into someone else's box, you'll rob yourself of the very breakthrough that was meant to catapult you into your destiny. Instead, take their doubts as fuel for your faith. When others tell you that you can't achieve what you see in your heart, let it remind you that the dream is not about you. It's about fulfilling a purpose far greater than you. See, there are moments in life when you have to understand your worth, your value, and the impact that you bring to the world. And sometimes you might not even realize the extent of it until you walk away. The truth is, when you step away from situations, relationships, or environments that are toxic, draining, or no longer serving your purpose, they will begin to feel your absence. There are people who may not appreciate you when you're there, but once you remove yourself from their presence, they begin to feel the weight of your absence. This is not because you're trying to make them feel bad, but because you carry something within you that they have taken for granted. Your presence in their life was a blessing that they couldn't see until it was gone. Your absence will speak louder than words ever could. It will make them reflect on the times they took you for granted, the opportunities they missed, the moments they let slip by. You see, when you have something valuable, something irreplaceable, people start to realize its worth when it's no longer in front of them. The silence after you leave speaks volumes. This is why you must always know your worth. You must understand that not everyone will recognize it, and that's okay. Some people will only realize the treasure they had once they no longer have access to it. But that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your peace, to protect your purpose, and to walk away when the time comes. When you leave, the world will feel it. When you leave, they will feel the gap, the void, the loss. They will see that they cannot replace what you brought into their lives. And though they may try to move on, the absence of your unique energy, your love, your presence will haunt them. Because there are things that can be replaced, objects, possessions, but not the essence of who you are. You were designed to be a blessing, not just to remain in places where you are undervalued. You were designed to add value wherever you go. So when they feel your absence, let it be a reminder to them that your value was never in how much you gave or stayed, but in how much you grew, how much you elevated those around you. Your absence is not a curse, it's a revelation. It's a moment for them to see who you were and what they lost. Don't regret walking away. Never regret removing yourself from spaces where you weren't being nurtured, respected, or loved. Because when they feel your absence, it will be the greatest lesson they ever receive. And just like that, your absence will be a powerful testimony to the strength you carry and the greatness within you. Stand in the truth of your worth and let them feel your absence, because it's the only way they'll know the power you bring to the table. People often don't recognize the value you bring to their lives while you're still there, because familiarity breeds complacency. They get used to your kindness, your support, your wisdom, and your unique energy. It becomes so normal to them that they begin to see it as something they're entitled to, rather than a gift you've chosen to share. Your presence is a blessing, a divine deposit that enhances their lives, but it's often overlooked because it's consistent, reliable, and always available. You see, there are moments in life when you have to understand your worth, your value, and the impact that you bring to the world. And sometimes you might not even realize the extent of it until you walk away. The truth is, when you step away from situations, relationships, or environments that are toxic, draining, or no longer serving your purpose, they will begin to feel your absence. There are people who may not appreciate you when you're there, but once you remove yourself from their presence, they begin to feel the weight of your absence. This is not because you're trying to make them feel bad, but because you carry something within you that they have taken for granted. Your presence in their life was a blessing that they couldn't see until it was gone. Your absence will speak louder than words ever could. It will make them reflect on the times they took you for granted, the opportunities they missed, the moments they let slip by. You see, when you have something valuable, something irreplaceable, people start to realize its worth when it's no longer in front of them. The silence after you leave speaks volumes. This is why you must always know your worth. You must understand that not everyone will recognize it, and that's okay. Some people will only realize the treasure they had once they no longer have access to it. But that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your peace, to protect your purpose, and to walk away when the time comes. When you leave, the world will feel it. When you leave, they will feel the gap, the void, the loss. They will see that they cannot replace what you brought into their lives. And though they may try to move on, the absence of your unique energy, your love, your presence will haunt them. Because there are things that can be replaced, objects, possessions, but not the essence of who you are. You were designed to be a blessing, not just to remain in places where you are undervalued. You were designed to add value wherever you go. So when they feel your absence, let it be a reminder to them that your value was never in how much you gave or stayed, but in how much you grew, how much you elevated those around you. Your absence is not a curse, it's a revelation. It's a moment for them to see who you were and what they lost. Don't regret walking away. Never regret removing yourself from spaces where you weren't being nurtured, respected, or loved. Because when they feel your absence, it will be the greatest lesson they ever receive. And just like that, your absence will be a powerful testimony to the strength you carry and the greatness within you. Stand in the truth of your worth and let them feel your absence, because it's the only way they'll know the power you bring to the table. People often don't recognize the value you bring to their lives while you're still there, because familiarity breeds complacency. They get used to your kindness, your support, your wisdom, and your unique energy. It becomes so normal to them that they begin to see it as something they're entitled to, rather than a gift you've chosen to share. Your presence is a blessing, a divine deposit that enhances their lives, but it's often overlooked because it's consistent, reliable, and always available. It's not their fault entirely, because sometimes we all fail to see the value of a light until it's gone. But the truth remains, your presence is a blessing. It uplifts, strengthens, and nurtures those around you. Yet, that blessing is not something to be abused, taken for granted, or assumed. It's a privilege for anyone to share in the abundance of who you are, and when that privilege is overlooked, it begins to fade. When you walk into a room, you bring something unique, something that cannot be replicated or replaced. Whether it's your wisdom, your compassion, your humor, or simply your ability to listen, your presence is a divine gift tailored by God to make an impact in the lives of others. And when people fail to honor that gift, they may not feel the loss immediately, but over time, they will come to realize that what you brought into their lives was more significant than they ever imagined. Your presence is not just about what you do, it's about who you are. It's the atmosphere you create, the energy you exude, the inspiration you provide. It's a reflection of your purpose, your calling, and the unique way in which you've been designed. People may not always see it, but that doesn't diminish its power. Your presence is a manifestation of the blessings you carry within you, and whether they acknowledge it or not, their lives are better because you're in it. So when the time comes that they feel your absence, they will realize that your presence was never ordinary. It was extraordinary, a rare and beautiful gift that made their world brighter, even when they failed to say thank you. When you step away, your absence begins to speak a language that your presence could not. While you were there, your actions, your love, and your sacrifices may have been taken for granted, misunderstood, or even ignored. But once you leave, the silence of your absence becomes deafening. It's in this silence that people begin to feel the weight of what they lost. Your absence creates a void, a space that was once filled with your energy, your wisdom, and your kindness. That void becomes impossible to ignore. The impact of absence is profound because it forces others to confront what they once overlooked. They start to notice the little things that were part of you, the way you supported them, the encouragement you provided, the calm you brought in moments of chaos. These things, which may have seemed so small or routine while you were there, suddenly become glaringly significant when they're no longer available. Absence has a way of magnifying the value of what once was, and in that magnification, it teaches lessons that presence often could not. When you're gone, they begin to see how much of their stability depended on you. They feel the emptiness in conversations that lack your insight, the disconnection in relationships that no longer have your empathy, and the challenges that now seem heavier without your strength. It's not that your absence is meant to hurt them, it's that it unveils the truth of how much you carried, how much you contributed, and how deeply you mattered. Your absence exposes their reliance on what you brought into their lives. They start to realize that the things they thought were replaceable are anything but. They may try to fill the gap with other people, distractions, or even denial, but the unique essence of who you are cannot be duplicated. Absence has a way of highlighting the irreplaceable, and in doing so, it brings a clarity that presence often cannot. It is in your absence that they learn what your presence truly meant. And while they are left to feel the loss, you are reminded of the power you hold. The fact that your absence can create such an impact is a testament to the value you carry. It's proof that what you brought to the table was never ordinary, it was extraordinary. So never underestimate the power of stepping away, for it allows others to see what they fail to acknowledge. Your absence is not just felt, it's a revelation of your significance. When they feel your absence, something remarkable begins to happen. They are forced to reflect. Reflection is a powerful process because it compels people to look back and examine their actions, their attitudes, and their treatment of you. In your presence, they may have overlooked the effort you put into the relationship, the sacrifices you made, or the love you gave without expecting anything in return. But in your absence, they cannot escape the reality of what they've lost. Suddenly, the moments they dismissed as ordinary take on a new meaning. The times you showed up for them, even when it wasn't convenient for you, now stand out in sharp contrast to the void they feel. The encouragement you gave, which they once took for granted, now echoes in their minds as something they deeply miss. Every kind word, every act of service, and every gesture of love begins to replay in their memories, reminding them of how much they benefited from having you in their life. Reflection in your absence also reveals the missed opportunities, times when they could have said thank you, times when they could have reciprocated your kindness, or times when they should have appreciated your presence more. These moments of regret and realization can be painful for them, but they are necessary. It is through this reflection that people come to terms with the value you added to their lives and the fact that they may have squandered it. This process of reflection can also bring about a transformation in their perspective. They start to see the depth of what you offered, your wisdom, your patience, your unwavering support, and how it shaped their lives for the better. They begin to recognize that their lives were enriched by you in ways they hadn't fully understood before. Reflection becomes the bridge between what they had and what they lost, and it is in this space that the lessons of your absence become clear. In your absence, they are given the chance to grow. They are confronted with the truth about themselves and their behavior toward you. Perhaps they will learn to value others more deeply, to express gratitude more openly, and to never take someone's presence for granted again. Your absence becomes not just a void, but a mirror that forces them to see what they missed when you were there. And while they are busy reflecting, you can move forward knowing that their realization is a testament to your value. It is proof that your presence was significant enough to leave an impression that lingers long after you've gone. So let them reflect, let them learn, and let them feel the weight of their missed opportunities, for it is in their reflection that the full impact of your absence will be revealed. Understanding your worth is one of the most powerful realizations you can have in life. When you truly know your value, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop staying in places where you're not appreciated, and you no longer tolerate relationships that drain you rather than uplift you. Recognizing your worth is not arrogance, it's an acknowledgement of the unique gifts, qualities, and purpose that God has placed within you. It's about knowing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that your presence is a divine asset to anyone who has the privilege of experiencing it. When you know your worth, you begin to see situations and relationships for what they truly are. You can discern when someone values you for who you are versus when they're simply using you for what you provide. This awareness gives you the strength to walk away from environments that fail to honor your presence. Walking away isn't about punishing others. It's about protecting your peace, your purpose, and the unique calling on your life. It's about ensuring that your energy and time are invested in places and people who align with your values and your destiny. The act of walking away can be difficult, especially when you've poured so much of yourself into others. But knowing your worth means understanding that your value doesn't decrease just because someone else failed to recognize it. It means trusting that God has greater plans for you, and that leaving behind what doesn't serve you is necessary for your growth. Your worth is not up for negotiation, and it's not dependent on the opinions or actions of others. It's intrinsic, rooted in the very essence of who you are. When you walk away, it sends a powerful message, not just to others, but to yourself. It's a declaration that you refuse to stay in places where your light is dimmed, your efforts are unappreciated, or your voice is ignored. It's a reminder that you deserve to be surrounded by people who see your value and reciprocate it with love, respect, and support. Knowing your worth empowers you to create boundaries that protect your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Understand that when people leave, they are doing you a favor, whether they know it or not. They are giving you the opportunity to realize your true power and to step fully into your potential. Their absence allows you to become the person you were always meant to be. It's not always easy, and it may hurt for a time, but the growth that comes from these experiences will propel you forward in ways you cannot yet imagine. The space they leave will be filled with the right people, opportunities, and blessings that will help you fulfill your purpose in ways you never thought possible. There will always be moments when others begin to question your path, your decisions, and your dreams. It can be difficult when people you care about, people who you thought were your supporters, begin to doubt you or even try to convince you that your dreams are too big or unrealistic. They may tell you that your vision is too grand, that you should settle for something more practical or realistic. They may attempt to place limits on you based on their own fears or insecurities. But here's the powerful truth you need to embrace. What they see as too big is actually a sign that you are on the right track. When others tell you that your vision is too big, too far-reaching, or beyond your capacity, they are not seeing your potential. They are seeing their own limitations projected onto you. They are telling you what they would do in your shoes, not what you are capable of. They are limited by their own thinking, but you are not. Your vision is not limited by their perspective or understanding. It's limited only by the faith you place in it and the courage you have to pursue it. The fact that others can't see your dream clearly doesn't mean it's not possible. It means that your vision is so far beyond their capacity to comprehend that they can't fathom how it could come to pass. You see, when God places a dream in your heart, it's often so big, so extraordinary, that it will challenge every belief and comfort zone of those around you. And that's exactly how you know it's from God. When your vision is so big that it seems impossible to the human mind, that's when you know you're about to step into something extraordinary. God does not place small, easy dreams in your heart. He places visions that will require all of your faith, all of your courage and all of your trust in him. But here's the key: when people tell you that your vision is too big, don't shrink it. Don't make it smaller to make them comfortable. Don't lower the standard of your dream just to get approval from others. If you begin to doubt your vision because of what others say, you'll miss the opportunity to see God move in ways that will astonish you. If you begin to downsize your dream to fit into someone else's box, you'll rob yourself of the very breakthrough that was meant to catapult you into your destiny. Instead, take their doubts as fuel for your faith. When others tell you that you can't achieve what you see in your heart, let it remind you that the dream is not about you, it's about fulfilling a purpose far greater than yourself. The bigger the dream, the greater the glory that will be revealed through it. When you trust in God and believe that his plans for you are beyond anything you can imagine, the opinions of others no longer matter. Your vision is not limited by their understanding, nor should it be shaped by their doubts. Your vision is as big as God has made it, and your job is to walk in faith, trusting that he will bring it to fruition. The people who tell you that your dream is too big often lack the courage to chase their own dreams. They haven't seen what you've seen in your heart, and they can't feel the stirring that God has placed in you to step into your purpose. They may try to discourage you, but in reality, they are simply projecting their own fears and limitations onto you. When this happens, remind yourself that your path is different. You are not meant to walk in the same way as everyone else. The dream you carry is uniquely yours, and no one else can fully understand it or fully believe in it until it comes to pass. Your dream is not bound by what others see as possible. It's bound by your faith and your willingness to step forward, even when others doubt you. If you keep moving forward, step by step, trusting in the process and in God's timing, you will see that what others thought was impossible will become your reality. So when they say it's too big, remind yourself that it's not about their approval, it's about the faith you place in God's plan for your life. When they tell you it's too much, know that it's just right, because the bigger the dream, the bigger the God who will bring it to life. Keep moving forward in confidence, knowing that nothing is too big when God is leading you. Keep your eyes on the vision and never let anyone's limitations dictate the size of your dream. It's time to dream bigger, believe deeper, and trust more fully than ever before. Your vision is not too big. It's exactly as it should be, and with God, nothing is impossible. There is a tremendous truth in realizing that not everyone is meant to understand you or walk alongside you as you pursue your dreams. There will be people who, because of their own limitations, cannot comprehend the direction you're headed, and that's okay. The journey you are on is not for everyone. It's not for those who are stuck in comfort or for those who are too afraid to leave behind what is familiar. It's for those who have been called to do something extraordinary, those who dare to believe that there is more to life than what they have been told is possible. When people fail to understand your journey, it can be frustrating. You may feel misunderstood, even rejected. You may be tempted to explain yourself over and over again, hoping that they will finally see what you see, that they will understand the dreams that you carry. But here's the truth: you don't need anyone else to validate your purpose. If God has placed a vision in your heart, that vision does not require the approval or understanding of others. It requires your faith and commitment to pursue it, regardless of who believes in it or not. The truth is, your journey was never meant to be understood by everyone. If it were, it would not require as much faith and determination. The road you are walking is one that will stretch you, challenge you, and at times even isolate you. But it is in this isolation that you will discover the strength, the resilience, and the power that has always been inside you. The more others fail to understand, the clearer it becomes that your path is unique and it is uniquely yours to walk. The less people understand your journey, the more you will realize that it is leading you to a place they cannot go. Their inability to understand is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their limited perception of what is possible. Your life is not a reflection of what others have planned for you. It's a reflection of the dreams and purposes that God has placed within you. And the people who truly matter, the ones who are meant to walk alongside you in this season of your life, will not only understand your journey, but will support you through every challenge, every setback, and every victory. These are the people who see your potential even when you don't see it yourself. They see what you're capable of becoming.